Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Sunday Night Wrestling. Hashtag that is. This is a Wrestle Queer exclusive presented to you by DTA Podcast here. I'm your host here, Peter Parker. We have a lot to discuss tonight. Tonight being the final Sunday of December, of 2021, that being December, the last month of the year. I thought it would be perfect to come on here live from New York City and, just chatting with you guys with the IWC and talking about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, as you guys know. And as you guys see with the hashtag and the title there, we're going there today. We're diving deep into the topics. That is what we do here at DTA Podcast. And clearly, as usual, I never do it alone. So stick around for that. I am bringing on my one and only sidekick to dive into these topics because this is something that we as a culture and also a community need to step up and, as they say, show out. Because clearly there is a consensus, let's just say, and this is clearly my opinion of what's going on with the world of professional wrestling. And I'm just going to say it's not pretty. And that is something that, as I mentioned, we are going to discuss because it is required. So stick around for all that and more. We have so much more aside from Nyla Rose. We're going to dive into the world of WrestleQueer and talk about other professional wrestlers who may or may not experience things, but also, not as harsh as what happened this past week. But there are things that has flew by my radar for quite some time, and I've been just kind of just putting it aside and, trying not to get in my feelings. But as of this past week, watching AEW, I think the fun is over. So let's get to it. Yes. So, what is up, everyone? We are here. We are live. Let me click this button right here to let everyone know what is going on. Oh man, I think I typed in the wrong thing. Wait, hold on. Let me cancel this broadcast. Guys, you guys know that listen to the show, listen to TTA Podcast. Y'all know I am always multicasted in the background. Shout out to Restream. We're multicasting. We're multi-streaming. I am setting this up here for you guys on Instagram. But yeah, so we are live here. Once again, guys, welcome to the show, DTA Podcast, presenting you guys a WrestleQueer exclusive. As I mentioned in the opening, this is going to be a conversation that is definitely required. You guys have your comments. You can always share your comments. Tweet us at DTA Podcast. You could tweet me at EJP CEO Corner. And let's keep the conversation going. Hate speech is not applicable here. So keep that to yourself. This is a safe space. So if you have questions, concerns about the community, we are here to provide that, or just, questions about your own situations. We're not therapists, but hey. But yes, so We are currently live on Instagram as well. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We everywhere right now, y'all. So join us at DTA Podcast. Let me click this here right now so we can officially go live on Instagram. That is. All right. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. And so, as I was saying, there is so much going on right now. And I myself wanted to highlight this moment. And I cannot do this without my sidekick. That is, she has been someone who I don't even know how to say it. Like, we both grew up as wrestling fans and as people who just watched the growth of professional wrestling, and from the sidelines, if you will, from our homes. And I know, because we spoke prior the show here, like that she's affected by this, and we're all trying to just still deal with what exactly happened, like, and as I was telling her, like, this is not the first time, this year, this month, if you will. Like, it's insane, and this is strictly like professional wrestling. That is, it's not even like hyperbole or saying something that's just not true. Like, this is real shit, and let's just bring her on in and add her to the conversation. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome in my sidekick slash co-host slash best friend, all the above, the one and only Suplex City, aka she is now known as Miss WrestleMania, hashtag Miss Mania, if you ask me. Let's bring her on in. What is going on, Gert?
Oh my God. Thank you, EJ, for that just amazing opening. And let me add one more to that list. I'm sidekick, co-host, best friend, and support group. So we support
Yes.
each other, and like, because it's just so many things that's going on and going crazy, and we talk so much about it. And now, guys, we're gonna bring it to you. I hope everyone had a great Merry Christmas, and you scuffled down that last bit of ham and chicken and ripped open the last bit of presents and got your fill, because the new year is upon us. And a lot of things are changing in wrestling. But the more things that change, and I think EJ, you agree with me, the more things stay the same. So today we're
Absolutely.
going to definitely get in there and dive into what's going on in wrestle queer, aka wrestling, and right, like dissect it and maybe go over what has been our favorite things this past year, coming in and going into 2022, and what we really want to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna tell
Hmm.
you one thing I want to see is no more homophobia in professional wrestling.
Yes, and we talked
Um,
about that. So we have a theory on Nyla Rose, and we're gonna tweet this towards you, Nyla, and let's see if you can, if Tony Khan, aka Vince McMahon Jr., will go along with this
hmm,
thing.
I'm
Mm.
I'm gonna let you have that one.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah.
No, I mean, listen, I am not here to defend Tony Khan, but
Right.
some may say,
Yes.
but you know, uh,
Mm. Mm.
it is definitely
He is
a
hot.
interesting it is definitely a interesting turn of events. I haven't even really thought about. It's funny. You
Mm.
say the and I mean, first of all, thank you for the you
Mm-hmm.
know uh you are also definitely my support system,
Support
and
group. Yes. Support.
and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
We all
Mm-hmm.
need
Mm-hmm.
that, and I'm sure
Yes. Mm-hmm.
as is Nyla Rose's
Mm-hmm.
wife and others who support her
Mm-hmm.
in and out the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's definitely important to have that. But I haven't really thought about exactly what I necessarily want for the new year in professional wrestling, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely what I said, just earlier about no homophobia. But as far as like what I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to, that's something I really have to think about. That I may
Right.
or may not have an answer before we wrap this. I don't know, but we
Okay.
still have a week
Okay.
left.
We do.
Don't hold your breath. Okay.
Right.
um,
He still got the present wrapped up, so he hasn't opened it yet. So when he opens it, he'll
Thank you.
let you know.
Right, that part. Um, um, yeah. So, uh, I don't know how to start this.
Well, let's
I
just dive right into what everyone's talking about now.
Yeah,
And
basically,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
past week,
Yes.
let me just send this out. As everyone knows, I'm multitask. All right, so let me send this out here. I gotta reshare it on Facebook. It's a lot right now, guys. Okay. Um,
Right.
so while I'm doing that, you go ahead and take the floor as you were just doing. Fill everyone else in on what happened
Okay.
this
This
past
is
week, Wednesday. Give your point of view and all
this,
that good stuff. Go ahead, girl.
this is the part. This is the segment we like to call "What Happened Was."
Ha!
And it's not a laughing matter, but we like to use humor in order to bring us up because you know
Right,
what?
right.
Along with wanting no more homophobia, along with wanting no more transphobia, along with wanting no more racism. It just seems like that is just woven into our society so thickly, and it's hard to get that stain out. You know that stain that's on that favorite shirt, and you wash it and you shout it out, and you wash it and wash it again, but it dries up, and that stain is still there. Well, that is what transphobia, homophobia, racism, and bigotry and all that stuff is. So, so this past this past week, wasn't it? This past this past AEW was really insane. Okay, so Nyla Rose was going against Ruby Soho
Yeah, this past week.
for yeah, this past week. So they wanted to give us something. So Nyla Rose was taking on Ruby Soho. Mm, let me set this tea because it's very very hot, guys. um and there was this guy, a fan, maybe mid-20s, and he had a sign that said, so Nyla Rose is coming down the ring. She makes her entrance, her and Vicky Guerrero, which is her advocate, special counsel, if you will. And she was taking on Ruby Soho in this quarterfinals match of the TBS Women's Championship. Now, so I'm just gonna just break it down little by little. But Nyla has been wrestling. She's also been AEW's Women's Champion for quite some time. And I mean, well, in the past, she has at least got to that level of Women's Championship. And she come across a lot of in the comments, and I'm sure, guys, if you ever followed her, she is a trans woman in wrestling, and I know I remember before, and she had this interview, and she talked about being trans and what it means to her to be in AEW, and they giving her a chance and everything else, and it came off really really good. So this past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, which is going to be on TBS, guys. And I don't have TBS, so we're going to see what's going to happen with that because now I'm going to call my cable company and I have to tell them and give them a reason why they should switch and give me TBS because I at this moment I don't have TBS. And guys, if you know how to get TBS free from somewhere, please hit me up at Suplex City Diva on Instagram, and please share that with me. But so Nia Rose is coming down this ring, and she with her intro and stuff, and then all of a sudden, this guy raises this giant poster up, and I'm wondering that like it's a big poster, and I don't know if he just did it there while he was sitting in the seats. I don't know how this was this something that he thought of before he came there, or it was just a joke why he was there. I'm not sure what his whole scheme of things was going at, but I definitely know it was transphobia. And what it is with people these days, they think that, oh, it's just a joke. If you're trans, and I've heard this before, if you're trans, you gotta really understand that some people, the way they cope with certain things, they joke about it. And we've seen that. And a lot of people, millions of you, have laughed at things like, say, the 90s and the 80s and maybe the early 2000s, um, with trans jokes and transphobia. And it was just like, oh, a guy, like, if you ever seen the Bosom Buddies, I know I'm showing my age, but have you seen the Bosom Buddies? These with what is this guy's name? Well, these two guys dressed in drags to live in this hotel, and no one knew they were supposed to be. No one knew they were men because they dressed as such great women, And Tom Hanks and another guy, Tom Hanks, right? Okay, so and no one knew they were women. I mean, men, except well, no one knew they were men, except for about a couple of people around or whatever. And people joked and laughed at it, and it was like, ha ha ha, that's funny. Wow, ha 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 ha. And they looked at horrible. They looked like horrible women. And so anyway, just to give you a kind of a, I'm just setting the stage, guys. So, because this tea is really really hot. Let me just set the stage for you. Um, and so Nyla, she's coming down the ring with Vicky Guerrero, and she gets to the ring, and all of a sudden, this guy puts this huge sign up, and the sign says, "Nyla Rose is this guy's dad. Is that guy's dad?" And Nala got into the ring and she seen it and she gave him the middle finger or whatever, and they proceeded to get into this ring. And there we are. If you have it, guys, you watching it. She's giving them the middle finger, and then he has an arrow. I didn't know if he had the arrow. He has the arrow. So this part was more malicious. He just wanted to. It wasn't a funny joke. No one's laughing. It just, to me, it just made headlines because it's like, wow, someone's still doing that, or they're allowing people to do that. Now, with AEW, they try to stay up on things. So they track this guy down, and like the cameras are on his face. We know what he looks like. He's not even wearing a mask. Um, so they tracked this guy down like it was so hard to do. And they threw him out of the Coliseum or stadium, wherever they were at wrestling. And Nala was just standing there. Now, mm, to me, you know, that's just not good enough. That just is not going to work all the way, Tony. I'm sorry, it's not. And I think that it's time for us to change a little bit of it because Nyla Rose, as a trans woman, dating a female, which a lot of people find that to be, they can't understand that because they think that, oh, if you date a female and you're a trans female, that means you're attracted to women. So, what is the thing of you being trans? Well, let me just give you a little education real quick. Trans people, and I'm a trans woman, so I know these things. Trans people, being trans, has nothing to do with the has nothing to do with between your legs. It has everything to do with in what's between your ears. Okay, so she sees herself as a woman. She wakes up as a woman. She is in a woman. She feels comfortable in a woman's body, in a woman's skin. It has nothing to do with having anything else. So someone came out and they said that about her. And to be honest, what I was talking about, knowledge should do, and I'm just going to throw it out. What I'm talking about, what knowledge should do is we need for 2022, I need her to throw away this native beast image. You're supposed to be the beast. All the women are fearing, and you're coming around and you'll beat someone's ass. And it's on, and people are saying, yeah, because she's a guy. That's the racist, homophobic, transphobic fans that we know are out there in that audience. Some might not say anything, some might just hold up signs, some might scream something out, but as far as that, this native beast, heel that she has been playing so long has, for me, is coming to a close. And Nyla, you have been champion before, okay, and you have been at the top of the pinnacle of these women, and I think it's time for you to embrace your your trans love of yourself. It's time for you to embrace what being trans means to you and playing that through your character. No more hiding behind, oh, I'm a native beast, and everybody just don't know and everything. Because everyone does know, and if they don't know, they'll tell somebody. Oh, and they pick people, and you can see them at the, if you can hear that little, you see them at the side of the, and they nudging their friend like, that's a guy, that's a guy. I know it. It happened. It happened to me. It happens to her. It happens to a lot of trans women. Okay, but she is in this space, and right now, representation is so important, and I get it. I get it. She's out there and she's being herself and everything in every other way. Her wife, um, um, her wife tweets, "Nyla is the strongest person I know." Well, to that is probably true to you, but to me, I need to see Nyla embrace her transness. I need her to embrace the yellow. I mean, excuse me, the pink, the white, and the blue. I need the new Nyla Rose. You're still going to be a force to reckon with, but I need you. I need you to embrace it. I need you to embrace it more, and we need to spin this character that you have on there because to me it's not enough. And as you can see, Nyla, that's not going to be the end of it. People are still going to make signs because in this society, for whatever reason, people feels like their social liberties or their are being taken away. They have to wear masks. They have to be vaccinated. Why can't I go to the show? Why can't I eat in a restaurant? And they like to go against anything that people are deemed to be uh, um, what people just deem to be what society has to do today, and this cancel culture, and they're fighting against that. It just seems like everyone wants to fight against something, and most of the time it's not even something that's right, you know. And these are kind of people that love to sit out and go after people like Nyla because they feel like if I do this, then but see, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate because on the other side, Nyla is playing a heel. Now, as we see in wrestling, a lot of heels get a lot of flack, don't they? People say stuff about Roman. People has said stuff about the elite, whoever's the bad guy. They scream stuff about Daniel Bryan. They scream stuff about even CM Punk when he was in MJS's home territory of Long Island. Okay, so they always have you always see them posters and they're going at it. So was he being homophobic or was he just pointing out something that was just obvious? She's obvious. And to me, in order to combat something like this, then you have to embrace who you are. No more of that gotcha bitch and all that other stuff behind the stage should she do because she attacked Ruby Soho. Watch out, bitch, and hit her with a thing, and it was Nala can't be so hard on. I'm sure girls that come back. Oh, I got hurt because she did X, Y, and Z. They like to say stuff like that, and then you got Nia Jax that punched Becky Lynch in the face. And bust her face open, and Nala Jackson and is as strong as a man. So if so I do watch Nyla Rose's feuds in wrestling, and she does certain things. I'm sure she's hurt people, and I'm sure she tries to be as soft and gentle as popular, but it's not going to pull off with the fans all the time. Being soft, you got to get in there, and sometimes you got to take those bumps. But is this? And this I'm asking you, EJ, is this just another person putting a sign up to be an asshole like a lot of these wrestling people are assholes and to say it. And he probably, and people are like, what? He got thrown out? Well, I'm going to go there and I'm going to put it up. That's how these people work. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna put up a sign. Now throw me out. And I'm gonna put up a sign too. Now throw me out. There's nothing that says, hey, you can't put up a sign because they feel like, oh, it's freedom of speech. And we could say what she's a bad guy and she's trans, but we could still say stuff, right? Because if it was a joke, it wasn't even funny. I'm like, it was
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
crude, But as Nyla playing this heel, you know, do heels get a lot of flack? And the answer is absolutely. They get flack for being a heel. You know, should
Yeah.
she go babyface? Is this the time Nyla embraces the pink, the white, and the blue of the trans flag? Should she come out and be more Nyla Rose? And have those colors. And I had said to you yesterday, the teller, the prompter, or the telescreen should read "I am woman" when she comes out, not native beef. I am woman, just to put that in there, like embrace who you are, Nyla, a woman. And they want to take stuff away from us like that. They want to always attack. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Um. Well, first and foremost, I
Mm-hmm.
want to add and say that I
Mm-hmm.
definitely agree with your
Mm-hmm.
consensus about just the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I mean, we did speak about this the other day, and
Yes.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of at my wits end as well.
Mm-hmm.
With just I'm just gonna come out and say it like Tony Khan
Right.
and these wrestling right now is being ran by a bunch of men.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly white men,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely something that uh
Right.
has been if you're a black or brown or
Yeah.
any other marginalized race
Mm-hmm.
of a wrestling fan, like you obviously aware of your societal things, and then once you get into the wrestling, the whole situation as a fan. And as my young self, I wanted to be a wrestler, so I was definitely studying the industry, which is where I got into
Mm-hmm.
doing this podcast and whatnot. Just as a lover of just the news
Mm-hmm.
and the dirt sheets and backstage, all the heat and all the production, all how everything is made and all that kayfabe.
Right.
But there's a real side to this industry where particularly in sports, where us as LGBT athletes,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever
Mm-hmm.
you want to call it, like we don't get the respect that we deserve, even though we're putting in the same amount of work,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or even harder. And I just think that when it comes to Nyla, yeah, she definitely has a lot up against her, because
Does.
she is someone of a different uh, kind of breed of a wrestler.
She's
Like,
she's the
she has.
first trans wrestler that I have seen that
Mhm.
is on a primetime network
Yes,
channel
yes, weekly.
weekly.
She like
Weekly.
she'll miss a
And
couple of weeks, like they got nothing for her, but when she comes back, they'll have her
they have
consistently.
a she they always throw her into the when they have these tournaments and stuff. Nala's in there, so she is an attraction. But
Mhm.
are they doing the right things to protect her? Is
Yeah,
this character the native beast? Is this all she can do? Because to me, it's like I think that she should be a advocate for trans rights, and and being a native beast, I don't think it really comes across. So in order to combat the transphobia, is to
mhm,
embrace it, because I don't see them
mhm.
saying, "Oh well, Nyla's trans, she's out with her transness, and we can't wrestle against her because she's saying she's trans." But if she keeps it quiet and that don't ask, don't tell policy, then well,
Not don't
maybe
ask,
we'll
don't
do it.
tell.
Don't ask, don't tell, honey.
I can't. you, you're right though. You're right. Um,
So yeah, that's what they're implicating in this and in her, this character she's playing with. Ever since I seen it the first time, I didn't even know she's trans. He was like, Nana Rose, she's trans. And I was like, oh wow, she is trans. And it wasn't, because I'm trans, I'm like, so it wasn't just a big thing. But to me, I was like, wow. And I actually told my therapist, and he was like, what, really? And I showed him And
Mhm.
it was an interview. I wish we had that interview when she was talking about being the first trans wrestler and stuff like that. And I think she said something like, "I don't want them just to look at me as a trans wrestler." Well, baby, I'm sorry. What else are they going to look at?
Mhm.
And I understand it, but it's time to embrace it more, and it's time to push the button, as we like to say. It's time to hit the button. That button that they pushed that set off the nuclear war, it's time to push that. And it's time to really push this now, as you being who you are. So I totally get it. As people that probably scream things, they don't always catch everybody that scream things. Hey, that's a guy. They'll say it real subliminally or just be in a crowd and you can't say it. They'll have their head down. Hey, that's a guy. Hey, no, that's a man. Or something like that. And then she hears it. Because the crowd is thousands and thousands of people. You can't stop every idiot in there. But to come out and say, this is who I am, and and I also think that she should beat up a couple of wrestlers, like big time wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah.
She should be that one that could cross that line back and forth. I'll take on Daniel Bryan. Let's go. She's a badass all the way around. So
I
I just
agree.
feel like that she should need to embrace this because it's always going to be something out there that people are going to do. So how do we combat that? We put it in a phase and we hold our truths out there. This is my truth, and I'm who I am, and you can't take that away from me. You have no power over here. You have no power over here. Everything you say, guess what? I'm rubber, you're glue. It bounces off me and sticks back onto you because once people are out there saying, "Oh, now it's trans," like embrace that, and I'm sure that, and also step over the line. Show Nyla like shit. Nia Jax and Awesome Kong fought guys before. Shit,
Mm.
shit. China was the first female intercontinental champion.
Hmm. That is true.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Like she could cross that boundary and come right back. Shit, if China, rest in peace to China, but if she was still alive, she can get right back in the ring and whoop any woman's ass and any man's ass. You know,
Yeah.
um, but this is up to what Tony Khan and the writers. I don't know what they have and the writers and stuff like that, and but I feel that they're not doing enough. I want to see a new type of Nyla Rose. That Vicky Guerrero get on the stage and push, and everybody's like, and is she cheating and stuff like that? You're not gonna get any good response. We stand with Naya. That's the sign I want to I want to see. We stand with Naya. It was just the other day, watching SmackDown,
Mhm.
and I look over in the corner, and I see a woman with a mask on that was yellow, blue, and white. I said, "Oh wow, she's trans," and it actually put her on camera, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And I looked over, I was like, "Wait a minute, is it just pink and white? I mean, is it just pink and white or blue and white?" And I see it again. I was like, "It's blue, pink, and white, and that's the trans flag color."
Mm.
And yes, we are out. We're here. We're proud. We're out loud. Okay. And we're not going anywhere. And not only needs to, I feel like let's change up this character, and let's give the real Nyla someone who stands up for rights, someone who stands up for trans rights, LGBTQIA plus rights. I'm fight against that. That's a fight, baby. You want to talk about a fight? Screw all the other shit. That's a fight. That's a fight that's been raging on for uh, uh, as long as I can remember. That's the fight right there, Nyla. You're missing it. That's the fight, baby. You fight for all rights. Now we get behind you, and those signs. Trust me, people will. You will have that. Like, what's her squad name? Like
Yeah. She needs
she needs.
a,
Yeah.
a faction you're talking about. Yeah. I
Yes.
definitely
A
I
faction
was
or
about to say that. Yeah. She
like
definitely
Beyonce
needs
has
that.
the beehive and Nicki
Mhm.
has the barbs. She needs her roses. Where are my roses? Where are my roses? And we're here, Nyla. We support you. And people like that will be super afraid to put up signs because we're here, we're queer, get used to it, and we're putting it out there. And guess what? We support Nyla, and I'm in the stands, and I dare someone put up a sign. Or you gonna catch a Royal Rumble right here in the damn audience. That's what you gonna catch. And I bet you people like, I ain't doing it because those roses, those are crazy ass people. You goddamn right. I'm a
Mm.
rose, you're a rose, everybody take a rose.
Rose, not Adam Rose, but
Not
Nyla
Adam,
Rose.
it's Nyla Rose.
I definitely like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's kind of where I was going to. I was going to say
Okay.
like, with Nyla, that she definitely needs to revamp and
Mm-hmm. It's
um,
time.
yeah, it's time. It's definitely
Mm-hmm.
time for us to see her. And speaking of, you bring up her relationship and whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
speaking of that, I think it's definitely important that Nyla also share that too.
Yeah.
Because like I told you, I had no idea that she was even
Married
married.
to a woman.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she said what she said on Twitter about my wife being the strongest person I know, which I have up on
Mm-hmm.
the screen. We are also live on Instagram right now. I'm not sure if you guys can see the whole tweet, but you get the basic, the gist of here. But yeah, because we're on Instagram, we're on the portrait, so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things are limited. But anyway,
Hmm.
so yeah, and so I just think she definitely, you're right. She definitely needs to take a stand. She's
Yeah.
have a beautiful marriage.
Now,
I
see
watched.
this picture right here with her and her
Mhm,
wife?
mhm, mhm.
Nyla she looks so soft and she looks
Yes,
so beautiful. And I want her
pretty.
to bring that
Mhm,
to the ring. This is
mhm,
what we've been missing.
mhm,
This is what
mhm.
we've been missing. Look at her right here. She's just so subtle and just so soft. And I love this. I want this Nyla. Where is this Nyla? This the Nyla I want to the ring. That native beef character, that's not you. You could still wrestle your ass off and do the things you wanted to do, but I want to see just this Nyla that just comes out and she's an I want to see the new Nyla that stands up for what's right and stands up for justice.
Mm.
And also, guys, you can see Justice, my new video on
Yes, you
YouTube.
better go ahead and
Mark
shameless plug.
featuring well, it's by Mark Angel and Los Lauren. And it's a really good song, but it talks about justice and our rights. So go check that video out. Justice, Mark Angel. Thank you.
Yes, check it out, guys. Yeah, and speaking of music, we have a special announcement we're going to give towards the end of the show.
Mm.
And speaking of end of the show, we're coming up towards the end of the first hour here. So in the last 20 minutes, what I'm going to do is first, what we're going to do is tell everyone on Instagram right now that are listening live or catching us, on post stream or whatnot. You can always go to any of our pages that we have where we're going to continue the conversation, that being YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or
Mm-hmm.
Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So you could go over there and catch the remainder of this conversation. We have some
Mm-hmm.
more. We're going to talk more about Nyla Rose. We're going to talk more about other wrestlers that are going through similar situations. We're also going to talk about five transgender industry that you may or may not know who are laying a smackdown in
Okay.
professional wrestling. Yeah, we're gonna dive into it, guys, and I'm also gonna give more thoughts on this Nyla Rose heel turn, or well, she always been a heel to me, but
Well,
this
babyface
this
run.
new
Babyface
right,
run.
right, just a revamp of
Yeah.
Nyla, the Beast.
The
Nyla
beast.
Rose. If she's indeed a beast, then like you said, let's go full steam ahead. Tony Khan, stop playing games. AEW, get your PR department together. If you guys need help, reach out to the community. Suplex City and I, we are here to give a hand. I'm willing to help. I have experience in marketing and PR to help you guys go and
Mm-hmm.
communicate the message. Like, you guys need to focus on, like you said, selling that message right now, because the world is a dark place right now, and people
Mm-hmm.
are coming there to cause violence or just mess shit up for the sake of messing shit up. Like, and that's never cool, but this is the world that we live in right now. And I really think that AEW, since they decided to take this initial run with Nyla and Sonny Kiss. Shout out to you, Sonny. We haven't forgot about you here. And so I just think them two being the forefront of the LGBT movement in this mainstream zeitgeist that we call professional wrestling. I just think AEW needs to go full steam ahead and light the torch, and run with this all the way to the finish line, if you will. And because we can't sit there and wait for organizations like GLAD or whoever wants to step up, because these organizations are waiting for AEW, companies like AEW and WWE, the ones with the big bucks, to throw a check their way for them to go put a statement out. I'm just telling you the tea on how it works. This is they need the funds, so this is what they do to these companies, and then they quote unquote partner with them, which basically means they give them some sensitive classes and some verbiage to give their wrestlers and stuff like that. That's not enough. And maybe everything is happening this way for a reason. Maybe it's like you said, it's time for AEW, the fans, most importantly, the wrestling media, that being us as well here, but specifically the wrestlers. This is a coalition of an effort, and like we both talked about earlier in the show. This industry is not safe for us, whether you're a fan or a wrestler, clearly trans or just anyone under the LGBTQIA plus umbrella, and this causes people to not come out of the closet. Anyone else that's living their life like this right now, and in professional wrestling, just keep it on this industry as a whole. Like, there are a lot of issues that go on in the sports industry, and wrestling has had its fair run with racism, misogyny, misogynoir, transphobia, homophobia, and let's just go on and on. And you had a lot of wrestlers depict, dress up, cross dressers coming on, and back when W did all this is your life bull crap. Like, there's so much. You even got wrestlers who, I did a Vince Logic. I need to put that Vince Logic a while ago, talking about the gay wrestling situation back then, and how you had, people just, male wrestlers portraying these flamboyant characters, they would call it, and just for the sake of laughs and stuff. And then as people started getting involved into the industry, in the late 80s and 2000s, if you lead into the 2000s, more likely, where people like Darren Young was the first in WWE to really like come forward out of the closet. We had Pat Patterson, but Pat Patterson came out years after he made his success, so it didn't really hurt him as much as it did Darren Young. And WWE did not know how, and still don't know how, to market wrestlers of that, the community, if you will, just black wrestlers, if you ask me. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it has a lot of nuance to what we're talking about. And as I said when we opened the show, like, we're definitely going to talk about it. And if you're someone who don't want to hear this, then you can definitely close the Instagram live and move on. Like I said, hate speech is not applicable here or anywhere. And like I said, girl, we're here and we ain't going nowhere. I want to thank everyone for checking us out. Yes, checking us out on Instagram. Shout out to you, Ant Won't Stop. I see you on the live. Shout out to you, man. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We definitely got to link up again in 2022. You guys got to check out Ant Won't Stop, an amazing phantom rapper. He does a lot of great wrestling theme songs. I know he has a new project out. We definitely got to catch up and link up. But yeah, guys, so thank you so much once again for tuning in to this quick DTA pod. Well, not quick, because it's been like a good almost half hour or whatnot. We're on Instagram. But anywho, thank everyone for tuning in. Like I said, if you want to catch more of the show, because we're going to continue, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to continue, come back on our other streams, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. So if you want to check that out, just go over there. But do me a favor and please subscribe to YouTube. That's right. Just had to make sure I put that in there for you guys. You guys didn't know what our YouTube channel, what it was called, what it looked like. There you go, DTA Podcast. So we'll be back after these quick messages on this break. And like I said, check us out on our other channels. See you in a bit.
AEW, I want to just thank you. I want to take my bra off to you and let you know how happy I am to see that you are a progressive company, and you're willing to take chances. Now, when I first heard about Nyla, who hails from Washington, D.C., she is 5'7", so she's kind of short, 169 pounds of tough, womanly, just embodying everything that a women's wrestler that I love embodies. Um, and you know, so she was, like she said in the clip, I was kind of up in arms. I didn't know how the crowd would receive me when I came out, and you know what? I seen the crowd just erupt. When I first seen Nyla, now I didn't even know, first of all, that she was trans, and that wasn't even a topic. They brought her out when AEW was giving their first promotion earlier this year. Um, and she came out, and then my partner and my co-host, Peter Parker, was like, that's her," and he kind of put me on to her. And when she came out, the intimacy of the crowd was so small, but the love they gave this woman was bigger than life. And I didn't even know she was trans. And I'm sure a lot of people in the audience, they that follow her whole career, they knew, but they didn't care.
And we are back. Yes, back. We're live. All that good stuff. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to to this edition of Sunday Night Wrestling. Hashtag WrestleQueer exclusive. Um, yeah. So whew. Yeah, so that wonderful flashback clip you guys just heard was from believe it or not, that was from the uh ooh, ooh, okay. We caught that. That was from
I thought
the
it was still backstage. Holy shit! You gonna tell me when you bring me up front? I thought it was still backstage. That's from Christmas, darling. It was from Christmas. That's a little Christmas tree. Okay, she's coming up. She's coming up all bubbles and stuff.
I
Oh my
was
god!
I mean I did have you on mute, but then I was like, well, let me bring you in so you could just give your thoughts as I,
And as
you
soon as you
know,
brought me in, pow,
right.
bam.
As
That's
soon
how
as I
we on.
clicked it, I was like, oh.
Oh, ooh.
um,
Well, if Wendy Williams can do it on her show and they cancel it, damn it, I can do it here, honey. Oh.
oh gosh, I can't. Yes, guys. So, if you didn't notice, we are back from break. Um, yeah.
Oh, they
So
noticed. They noticed.
right. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, so this is another edition of DTA podcast, Sunday
Mhm.
Night Wrestling, with me and my other half here, Miss
Mhm.
Mania. Yeah, so that was your clip of believe it or not, season 2 of DTA
Mhm.
podcast about 2 years ago, in October, I believe it was, and that was the time when AEW just launched Dynamite, and as you were saying, you were really having so much high energy in your voice about what exactly we all thought would be next for this, you know, this
Mhm.
mega star. Even before her arrival, like she was just someone. She was a threat. She made her name in the indies. Shout out to a matter of pride, and everyone that works there. Rick Cataldo, and I'm trying to think of his name. Gosh. It's on the tip of my tongue. His drag name, as wrestling drag name. Anywho, it'll come to me. But anyway, Rick Cataldo, who runs that whole organization, A Matter of Pride, I would say one of the biggest indie organizations, gay or all gay organizations out in New York City. They run a lot of events in Brooklyn right now. With uh, um, this panorama, we're just going to say, because we don't want to get flagged for anything. It's been tough, but everyone is trying to get survive, and hopefully we all get through this. But Nyla has been making her waves, as I mentioned, and A Matter of Pride was one of the places that I got to see her work. And her and Sunny Kiss, and shout out to Melina, WWE Hall of Famer Melina, a former women's champion Melina, helping Rick build the organization and giving it some prestige in the women's division, and everyone, Devon Monroe and Ashton Starr, and so many people who are part of this LGBT community. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, about so many wrestlers who are inspired by what Nyla is doing. At the same time, seeing what's happening and feeling a bit just I'm trying to think of the word, feeling just jaded on the brand, the industry that you all love, and you are continuously striving to be better and and get yourself more enthralled into the community, and just try not to, because you could get in these places, like we said earlier before the break, like the sports industry is very much, it's a toxic environment, and you either get in with the guys or you don't, and if you don't, 9 times out of 10 you'll probably be excommunicated. So we don't know the whole story on what exactly is going on behind the scenes with Nyla or any of the LGBT wrestlers to at that. But what we do know is what we see, and what we see is none of it is good. And I'm sitting there thinking, during the break and stuff, like, just um, I think it's time, like, this Pride season for AEW to invest some bucks into Pride. If they want to do just Florida, Florida Pride, keep it local, whatnot. But I do think they should go to New York City Pride to get the most eyes. Well, actually, go to all the damn prides, if you will. This Tony Khan we talking about. Y'all got the budget. You could do Florida, LA, New York City, that is. All the major hotspots that has pride around the country. And like we're saying, have Nyla Rose, Sunny Kiss, whoever the allies are, some of the bisexuals that, you got those bisexuals backstage. I ain't gonna call you out right now, but we know.
Bisexuals always like to hide. They don't like to stick their
They
face
hide in
out because
between. They hide in
they're
between.
bisexual. They're
Mhm,
like, well, I like both.
mhm.
Why I gotta say anything?
Right,
But
right.
the ones that can't make up their mind. If you're going this way, you're going that way. Which way you going? Okay.
Thank you. Speaking of, I got to send you something on the low tip right now. I'm gonna send you while we talking, so just keep a lookout on your text messages. Um,
Okay.
because I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about. Because
Mhm.
listen, y'all like to share y'all stuff, and the girls like to go and download. They get a little third party app, and let me download that, and then it pops up on the Reddits and the Twitters, and it's just like, okay, well, hey, listen, y'all upload it. It's so funny. We're like, you got people who, not to segue into anything else, but just like people who don't want to be caught with anything. But then why do you always put it on social media? Like, it's just stop sharing it. That's simple. Just stop sharing stuff. Maybe you won't get caught doing things that you shouldn't be
Mhm.
caught doing. Like, it's just so weird. Like, it's just, I like, I don't have the propensity to like do anything like that. Like I'm very cautious, I guess, but there are people who just don't care. So
Mm-hmm.
when you see the video, girl, you're gonna gag. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we're during break, so that way no one can hear you scream. I might have to mute your mic, but
Oh my
anyway,
God.
um,
Let me look at my
well,
text. Is it there yet?
it's nothing
Oh,
like the Tyler Perry thing we had you look at yesterday.
oh, I'm still confused what I was watching, but I'm
Guys, for
still
those that listen to this, just go
still
on Twitter,
confused. Yeah.
hashtag Tyler Perry, and do not
Mm-hmm.
watch it at work or on the bus. So
Oh.
yeah, I don't know what's going on BET, a mess. But yeah, so there's a lot of components to this situation with just being gay in any space, but specifically professional wrestling. And I'm honestly at my wits end, as I was telling you. Like I'm at the point where I just honestly feel like, you know, we 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 all collectively need to take a stand, and I told you what my ideas were, and I'm going to save that for towards the end of the show. But I just really hope that, as much as we were affected by this, that Tony Khan was affected by this as much, because he's the one that makes, he's the one that makes the decisions here. And as far as I'm concerned, I know you also got the executives, Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega is also the one that runs the women's division, to my knowledge. He's also running the game division as well. That's supposed to be coming out March 2022 for anyone that's keeping the eyes on the AEW game. 2022 is going to be popping. March 2022, y'all. We're definitely going to be talking about that at the beginning of the year. You got 2K 2022 and AEW launching their first video game. It's going to be lit. And New Japan got their own thing over there. Anyway, so it's Tony Khan needs to, and the entire executive team, Brandy Rhodes as well. You're the brand manager, whatever that means. Well, let me stop, because I do branding as well, but you know what I mean. People get these titles, and I love Brandy. I do think Brandy is doing. Let me just say much, because I'm gonna go on a rant here.
Well,
But
well, well. She
'cause I was
sent
gonna go,
you a yeah. She sent you a special birthday message and happy birthday again. This is
well,
for
no,
your
I'm talking.
for
No, I'm talking about Cody's wife,
Brandy
Brandy Rhodes.
Rose. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
isn't she still
Uh,
pregnant?
no, no, that's the
Oh,
long pregnancy.
oh.
No, just saying, like, cause she's the branding manager for AEW, and part of the executive team along
So
with
you
her
think
husband.
she's part of the what of the Nyla? Don't ask, don't tell policy.
I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. But all I can say is that when there was an issue with, I'll take it back. Let's dive into, and we spoke about this on DTA podcast. We dived into the whole situation with, I believe it was Kylie Ray, at one point, who was signed to AEW. And then immediately, like weeks later after signing, and everyone, yeah, I don't know if she was at the initial rally that they had, and that they had in Las Vegas, and announcing all the wrestlers. But I know she got signed in the beginning process AEW, and right before the time they went live, I was like right towards the end of the summer. Kylie Ray just dipped out. They didn't say anything, and find out that there was some issue backstage that happened, and she alluded to that, uh, she spoke to someone, and someone executive there, and they told her not to speak up or something like that. And the only person I could think that she spoke up to would be Brandy, because Brandy Rhodes came out and denied it, of like, whatnot, because I guess at that time it was the beginning of AEW induction, and I guess they didn't want no bad rep. And but it's interesting. I mean, and then to be fair, Kylie Ray did came back and said that, about a year later or so, announced that she had mental health issues. So I still don't know if it wasn't mental health or something happened. However, what I do know is that no one did anything at AEW, so she left, and she didn't feel safe. And I guess whether that, we don't know what that meant, but point is like, in the beginning of AEW, they had issues, and I saw that, when she left, I was like, okay, what's going on? And I always had concerns about Nyla. I've always had concerns about Nyla. And speaking of that, what I'm going to do right now is get to this clip here real quick, because to prove my point of how I was always concerned about Nyla. Now, you guys heard Suplex City in the that clip before, and I want you guys to hear my take on Nyla. And this was about, I don't know, I think it was last summer or maybe so, but this was during her run. This was right after she lost the title to the first run. Yeah, because she never got a second run. That title, she got it and then she lost it to, was it Riho? I think it was.
She did lose. No, did
Yeah,
she lose to
yeah,
Riho? No, she
she,
beat Riho
oh
for the
no,
title.
but she did, she lost it. I forgot who did she lost it to Shida, Hirako Shida, I think.
Hirakushita.
Yeah, there you
Hirakushita.
go. All right, but take a listen to this clip, guys. And basically, I'm just talking about basically what we're talking about. When this is so interesting. This is why it's just always good
Right.
to go through these videos that we do
Mm-hmm.
and just
Mm-hmm.
archive it and chop some stuff up. But take a listen to this clip
Mm-hmm.
on why AEW and Tony Khan must protect Nyla Rose.
Right.
They hired her, Nyla Rose being one of the first openly transgender wrestler, female wrestler in history of professional wrestling. And AEW signed her out of the gate. Okay, this wasn't after they launched, brought her into. No, they signed her out of the gate. Her and someone else that I'm going to talk about in a little later, that is Sunny Kiss. And I love that, on DTA podcast. Excuse me. Had a moment there. DTA podcast, along with my co-host Suplex City Diva, who stands hard for hashtag Trans Wrestlers Matter. And I think it's very imperative that we continue to showcase that these people, being LGBTQ wrestlers, can not only thrive but have the potential to be top stars. And it is hard for a lot of people to understand, understand exactly what is going on. Well, not even say what's going on. They know what's going on. They just don't want to accept it. And that's the problem. It is a problem. And I'm not saying you have to, but we ain't going nowhere. So yes, in a sense, you have no choice. I mean, and we have to stand for them, because if we don't, then who will? Who will? I've been in a lot of chat rooms and seeing the disgusting things that people say about Nyla Rose and Sunny Kiss and oh, she's a man, and a man can't wrestle with women, and how dare she, and how dare they put her in the ring with another woman, and blah blah blah, and all this mess. Like it's crazy. And it's just a lot. And I'm trying not to, heated by it, but Nyla Rose is someone who has the potential to be, something really, really worthwhile. She recently won the women's championship this past February at Revolution. She then lost it a couple weeks after, at Double or Nothing. A couple months, after, at Double or Nothing in May. So she didn't have a great title reign, about 3 months. But the backlash was just brutal. So as you guys heard there, the backlash to what had happened with
What happened was
Nyla
what was the
Rose.
view? Oh, the host muted your mic. Okay.
Say that again.
Oh, there I am. I said, well, first thing I heard was the burp. I was like, oh,
Yes,
okay.
I did the burp too, right?
Yes, you did the burp too. You did the burp
I
too.
saw
I'm
that
like,
too. I was like,
I just heard the burp. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Today's that day. Yes. Today
clearly,
is that day.
we are just BFFs, huh?
Yes, we
It's just
are.
like,
We are. We do the same thing. Even if it's like 9 months later, we always in sync.
it's crazy. But yeah, that that clip right there really explained what we just spoke about the last like 10 minutes. Like, just well, this whole show, like, it's just imperative
Mm-hmm.
that AEW protect their LGBTQ wrestlers. And if I saw that then, and you saw what you saw when we played your clip, and then now fast forward now, and it's just it's at the point where it's like, what else do we do if we don't stand for these wrestlers? Like,
Right.
and I mean, I'm someone who care a lot about the industry. I don't know how far your level goes with this, but I really do care about these
No,
wrestlers.
yeah, as
Like,
far, yes.
go ahead.
I definitely care about these wrestlers, and I remember when and I remember when I really really came to that it really came to me like how I care about it is when Eddie Guerrero died. And I cried like
Mm,
a baby when and also when Dusty Rhodes died, I cried like a baby. So I'm really in tune with how these wrestlers and like they're part of our daily lives.
yeah,
We
yeah,
watch them, we see them more than we see most of our family.
yeah. That is the truth. And it's just something that it definitely hit
So
home seeing
so
the
yeah, when
Nyla.
they hurt, we hurt, and
Thank
that's
you.
why I just left this
Ain't that the
this
truth?
this message on not a page is basically what I just said on here, and I wrote her a nice little message, and
Mhm.
because people need to know that we definitely stand by you, and you're not alone, and I'm sure she
Yeah.
has a lot of support and everything else, but what we want to see is now we want to see because. If you think about it, Nyla is a heel, and she's always supposed to do sneaky stuff. And
Mhm.
I honestly that never. I just look at that as wrestling as kayfabe. It's like it's supposed to be not real, but some people don't know what is real, what is not, and they'll take that. She's a bad guy. She's always cheating. She's always doing that, and I don't want them to get that impression that that's how trans women are all sneaky and hit you from behind and I need that. I need more. We need that evolution of Nyla Rose.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm sure
Hmm.
that she is sitting at home and thinking exactly what we're talking about. Like, why she definitely needs to create something new, a new aesthetic to her look. We're not saying, like, it's over or anything like that.
No.
We're definitely saying that, like, because I agree with you. Like, she's been around for quite some time, and
Right.
and to be honest with you, the character has gotten a bit stale in my
It
my opinion.
has.
This is before all this, obviously. I love her and Vicky. It's just like, I
We
think
love her.
I think
Yeah.
Vicky needs to obviously do more of the Paul Heyman esque situation. They really
Yes.
need to build her just like they're building
Hmm.
Jade. And Jade got Mark, what's his name? I forget his name, Mark something. But anywho,
Yeah.
Jade Cargill, who, by the way, quiet as kept, I do think Jade is going to win this TBS title in
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
weeks.
I mean, she hasn't been
Yeah,
defeated ever, so I couldn't see Ruby Soho coming in and defeating her. I just don't see it.
yeah, right. That me neither. But yeah, so I think, and there's nothing wrong with switching up your character, your aesthetic, for especially for for creative reasons, because at some point you are gonna get caught in especially when you're a character like Nyla Rose, and she could be more than just one dimensional, and that's what we're trying to say. Like, grow the character a bit, and see where we could go. And I think doing the faction situation is definitely something that will take it there. It's just who will be a part of it. And AEW is really great with building factions and whatnot. So it's just a matter of who is going to be a part of this and how they make it make sense. And
Hmm.
still, as the lower third here says, protect their wrestlers. It's important, not just Chris Jericho, who's going on cruises and giving everyone COVID in freaking South Dakota last summer. I think I forgot. But anyway, that's neither here or there. But yeah, so um, I guess if you got anything to say to add to this conversation.
I think that this conversation is not one that we can have completion on one show. This is going to expand towards probably into the summer because we want to see what happens next and what they do in Nyla because I, for one, am going to push for her to rebrand and them to
Mhm.
rebrand. So I'm going to be sending out, unless she blocked me like Naomi blocked me on on Instagram. I will be pushing for her to take down this Native Beast
I
marketing brand,
can't.
and I'm going to ask Cody too, and I'm going to hit up
Mm-mm.
Brandy too, and I'm going to hit up Tony too, because it's time for Nyla to evolve into someone who fights and have a cause, because to me she doesn't have a cause to fight. It's just okay, but it's time for us to see that, just like with Roman Reigns, people booed him a lot, but now as he evolved to this character as the head of the table, it's taken effect because now he's a heel, which really works for him and he's real comfortable at. And I feel like the heel with Nyla is like, we need Nyla, who Nyla fights for, and I'm gonna damn sure push for that. Damn sure push for it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I definitely agree with
Mm-hmm.
that. I think that what you said with the whole yeah, just the fact that it's time for that. But let's see what happens, and I definitely am
Okay.
gonna be, like you said, keeping an eye on this. Just real quick, like the story with the fan, as you
Yeah.
mentioned,
Yeah.
it went viral and went everywhere on TMZ and all this madness, and New York Post and stuff, and so I guess that's how it's real. But
Right.
yeah, so we will see what happened. Now, before we get to the next part of the show here, um, what I want to tell you guys is later on in the show, before we end the show, I have another story on Nyla. Actually, two stories on her. One involving her wife again, and this time they're calling out a familiar person who should be eradicated from, I would say, Earth. But we're
Oh,
going to talk about that.
not Earth,
Someone you're
but
very familiar with. I'm sure you're going to agree.
Earth.
And then also we have a fun, interesting story. Well, not to say fun, but it is a interesting story on Nyla speaking to a magazine about how we all can be better allies and just supporters in the LGBTQIA community, whether you're a fan or just someone in the community and want to get involved. And she has some very interesting quotes from this story, and I just want to share that with you guys. And coming up next, we are going to be talking about the one and only 5'2". I can't get my words right. The one and only 5'2" player, 5'2" player. Those that know, you know what I'm talking about. I got to say that twice. He is the other half of the number 2 tag team in AEW right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. I am talking about the Acclaim. We're going to be talking about Anthony Bowen and how he's connected to this story. The title of this episode is Homophobia in Professional Wrestling, and we're going to tell you what happened with him on the other side after this break. And right now, what I want you guys to take a listen to is a clip. This is a special clip courtesy of WrestleQueer, which is presented to you exclusively here by DT Podcast. Take a listen to the latest I guess, member, if you will, of the LGBTQIA space. We have a former WWE, and I don't even know if Miss Mania knows about this. This was a story that flew by. However, she made she had her own, I guess, Caitlyn Jenner-esque debut on Extra TV. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to take a listen to this clip and introduce yourselves if you had met her. I want everyone to meet the one and only Gabby Tuff, former WWE NXT superstar. And when we come back, we're going to end this show with the remaining of topics.
Wrestling is to change the way we see queer representation in this sport.
Gabe Tuff, a former WWE superstar, ring name Tyler Rex, make a long-awaited gender reveal exclusively on Extra Television. And it goes on and says here, a tough Tyler Rex, a tough pro wrestler who made opponents quiver. To cheer millions of adoring fans, he battled in the iconic WWE Mega TV events seen across the world, such as Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania. But Gabe gave all that up, that WWE fanfare, to spend precious time with his two of his most loyal fans, his wife and their little daughter. Oh wow, they have a daughter together. Wow, that explains why she was still with her. Like, clearly the love is still there. Yes, so we are back. Yeah, so welcome back to this edition of Sunday Night Wrestling. I am your host, Peter Parker. And yeah, we are still live. We are still here. This is a special edition episode here. And yeah, this is a special Wrestle Queer edition of DTA podcast here. We're giving you guys an exclusive breakdown on what's going on in the world of wrestling, specifically with the one and only person in the title there, that being Nyla Rose. We spoke about her about the remainder of this past hour and 19 minutes right now. And I just introduced you guys to the latest, I would say, member of our bright, beautiful, loving community. Hashtag love is love. As you guys saw in that clip, the one and only Gabby Tuff, formerly known as WWE superstar Tyler Rex, revealing herself as now transgendered, and with her loving wife and child, and just seeing how beautiful it was. And you can see I was shocked literally in that clip. I was shocked because I did not. I was just, I didn't see the interview. I saw when I did that, I saw the story, and then I was literally reading it. So I was literally fresh. Like, it was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And also I was like, clearly the love still there. Like, she supported him, and she showed up on television on Extra. And then she showed up as well. Because then I got to see Gabby on Tamron Hall, that is. And the Tamron Hall show. Gabby came on with her wife, and so I got to see a real one-on-one conversation, because it was a good while that Tamron spoke to her. And Tamron is like the new Oprah. If you guys don't know Tamron, come on 10 o'clock, ABC 7, wherever you get that channel. And it was brilliant. And then I immediately saw the Extra interview, and it just got to know more and more about her, and just her life, and how her and her wife got to stay together, to the point where she was borrowing her clothes and in the
Hmm.
process of transitioning and stuff like that. Like, how beautiful is that,
Hmm.
Miss Mania? Like, I mean, you spoke about it earlier in the show, you being a woman living the trans experience, as you mentioned
Hmm.
to me the other day, more the
Hmm.
proper term to use. Like, how does that, I mean, did you know of, and how does that make you like feel like, um seeing that?
I'm perplexed. I'm
Oh,
perplexed.
oh,
Because you know, oh God. Look, I just feel like when these, and I'm not, it's not a racial thing, guys, but a little bit of this. Because when white men transition into their truth, they're almost celebrated. But when black trans people come out, they're so attacked from left, right, and sideways. It just goes crazy, and until black trans lives matter. White trans lives, to me, it just seems like he's on E. I mean, she's on E. She's on Tamron and all the other stuff. And just being celebrated, just like they did Caitlyn Jenner, and it became a big thing because they felt like, oh, Caitlyn was the first woman on to win a ESPY award or something like that, and it was just putting like that, and so it trickles down to the trans black and brown community who when they transition, they're not appreciated as much as Gabby. I'm not taking anything away from you, Gabby, but extra. Come on. I think it was a long shot. And if you're transitioning, do your thing, and it's all about self love and coming out and being yourself. But, too many times that white trans people get celebrated and they get put in the spotlight, and you're supposed to bow down and like, wow, oh my God, it's such a big thing. But is it really? Because until, like I said in that line, and no, all lives can't have a worth until the black trans lives matter first. And I feel like we get attacked, we get beat up, we're killed, we're murdered, and everything else, while the white trans just get, they get honored. They're paying a mosque to them just coming out, paying homage, pay homage. And to me, I'm like, child. And I'm gonna be honest. When I see her it didn't come out like, wow. It came out like, mm-hmm. It's just and it's that white skin that says, "Hey, I can do whatever, and I could be." I mean, they're gonna pay homage to me. But when black and brown do it, we're chased, we're beaten down, we're dragged in the street, we're murdered. No cases are solved. It's just homicide after homicide, and I'm damn well tired of it. I'm tired of it. And Tyler Rex, now Gabby, I appreciate you coming out and being you, baby. But all that I didn't understand what all the big buzz was. I just didn't get it. And at this point, it's like, okay. Okay, Caitlyn, another Caitlyn, they'll turn around and then just like Caitlyn, they pay homage to her, and she was like, then she turned around and said, "I'm going for governor of California," and then she turns around and she's like, trans youth should not play with on girls sports. Let's protect women's sports and all this other bullshit. And it's like, oh wow, you're really a fucking piece of trash. So I don't know where Gabby stands. I haven't seen, excuse me, she is still with her wife now. Her wife support her, and to me, it's just a scheme. It just seems like, hey guys, look, I'm out. I'm like, okay, you're out, sweetie. I see you. Okay, but what about us? We've been out. We've been pushing. Where's my extra? Where's the only time they give black people, black trans queer people, any kind of light, it's when it's to be ridiculed. You know, I remember when I did the verse against Eric Sermon, they put it on allhiphop.com, and they was like, "Oh well, LOL, tranny rapper goes back at Eric Sermon." It had to be something that was very clickbait, and then had people coming over and then leaving all kinds of comments. I didn't get any extra. I wasn't invited for Tamron, who I love, but I wasn't invited to Tamron. We don't get that. We don't get cheers. We don't get hey and parades and stuff thrown at us and love like that. We get guns, we get robbed. We have to keep our heads low because people we get targeted. There's a dark side of transitioning that I feel like people don't see. And when you put these white people out there in their transition, it's like, oh wow, I wish mine could have went as smoothly. I
Mm.
wish my family could have put on as smoothly, but no, it was a fight. It was a fight.
You
You
know,
know?
um, I definitely agree with you about the situation about the gap and stuff and the community and
Mm-hmm.
how the difference on, because you're right, the difference on, we just spoke about that with uh Nyla Rose, like,
Mm-hmm.
about having Tony
And she's
Khan
a
step
brown,
up
because
and thank you. Yeah, like, exactly. Like, that's exactly my point. Like, we spoke about like Tony Khan and telling Tony to, like, step up and da da da, like, and you know, um, it
and
you're
Nyla
right.
Rose didn't get
Eh,
invited to I haven't seen her on many
Thank
shows.
you. Exactly. That's
Where's
not like,
her
you're right.
extra
Mhm.
she's an active wrestler.
Thank you. And that's why you have an excellent point. I mean, because you're right. Like, let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about Gabby Tough. I've
Mm.
never seen that person wrestle in NXT
Never.
ever.
I
Have
no.
you? Did you watch NXT? Tyler Rex, anyone that comes, listen
They were
to
a
this
D
episode,
class wrestler. They didn't
right?
really, even in NXT, AEW, NXT, or WWE. I, I I barely remember them. They weren't like champions. They didn't do a big run, and they weren't that popular. It's not like Daniel Bryan came out and it's like it's Daniel Bryan's ex world, or anybody who's been world champion. They were just somebody, and I didn't really get why they were on extra. Just
Right.
coming out, you are a WWE star, and I feel like Billy. What is his name? Billy, somebody that was with Trump, talking with Trump. This is his way of getting back into the community after that whole you just grab him by the pussy in the bus with Trump. That's how he got that's how he got the boot. Now he needs to get in there and show that, hey, I'm for trans rights and all this other bullshit. It's just
Mhm.
political. It's all politicized. And I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it. Let's be real. Let's be real
Yeah.
about it, and pick up somebody that's really in there that's doing it, like Nyla Rose. No one wants to interview her. No one cares about her struggles, her battles. She just went through something where she had to get somebody the middle finger. It's not over.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not as it's not as pretty as people try to paint it. And
Yeah.
I want the real. What's really going on, Gabby? How did your family feel? What everyone was great about it. Oh, really? Well, kudos to you and applause to you, sis. Um,
I
that's not
cannot right
real.
now.
That's not reality. Sorry, that's not about. That's about what 98% of the. Only 3% of people that come out usually get celebrated.
Well,
You and
listen,
Caitlyn.
I'm
Who
I'm gonna
else?
I'm gonna I'm gonna say this. Like, you do have a point where
Mm-hmm.
you, like I said, you're talking about the black and white, black and
Mm-hmm.
brown versus the white Caucasian
Yes.
racial dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
and
Amen.
in this
Yes.
country, in the world
It's
specifically, but
really.
it is a real thing. And like I said, I've never known of
Tyler
Tyler
Rex.
Rex in
Yeah.
NXT. I found out, like I said, through getting the story on my newsfeed about the transition when it happened, and then I, being that I cover this, WrestleQueer here, like I had to cover it because it's part of the culture, the community. But
That's
you
right.
are right. You are right. Nyla Rose,
Mhm.
yes, she got the Washington Post write up, but that, that was like everyone was getting write ups at that time. That was the AEW just launching, and everyone was getting things here and there to announce, this new company and stuff. And it was a great write up. Don't get me wrong. Washington Post is very heavy political,
Yes.
but it wasn't enough. That was 3
It's
years
not.
ago. And,
Thank you.
Gabby made it to television. Nyla made it to a newspaper, probably in page 60. We don't know.
Right.
You know what
And
I'm saying? Like, come on.
right.
So it's, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like,
For people who still read the newspaper, I
thank
mean,
you. Or she was probably on the back page of the website. Who knows? Like,
maybe,
what we don't.
or maybe
It
she was
certainly
on
wasn't the.
back page when they had prostitutes. I don't know.
It certainly wasn't on the front page of the website. Okay, you didn't go to WashingtonPost.com. The
It wasn't
during
no
the
big front page scoop.
Thank you.
It was
During the era of
further in the
Trump,
back,
sitting
honey.
there, boom. Like, come on
Right.
now. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Like, so yeah, we already know what it is. And speaking of like Trump supporters, and I brought up the WWE, and we have to go there. Like, they are
Yes.
supporting Trump, as in financially supporting his political campaigns, as in like Linda is running his super PAC, and Tony Khan
Right.
donated money to Donald Trump. Chris Jericho donated money to Donald Trump multiple times. And his
speak
wife
on it.
his wife was quote unquote pictured at the insurrection. I'm not going to say she was in there with everyone at the Capitol, but she was pictured
Honey,
at the insurrection. The headlines came
she was
out with the
there.
picture. She changed the cover photo with the Trump thing on it. We spoke about Chris Jericho having Don Jr., that idiot, on his podcast, because Chris Jericho, another one, just want to go viral for nothing, for any
Yeah.
reason. So, these people are who they are. Now, like
They
you
are
said,
who,
you have
yes.
a very good point where we don't know per se how far their ideologies go. I mean, with Jericho and
Right.
his wife, I think we could figure that out. Tony Khan, I'm only reason why I'm giving him a pass here is because at that time he was doing the same thing Vince McMahon did. If you guys remember, Vince McMahon, this was announced on national news, and I was watching it live on MSNBC. They announced it because it was fucking weird. It was like out of nowhere, Vince McMahon was announced to be on the suplex. He was announced to be on the bring back the economy, open the economy after Trump closed he closed the government at that time, and threatened to close it, and we're going through all this COVID stuff, and Vince was on board along with Mark Cuban and a bunch of other tech and billionaires to bring back the country back from this situation. Never happened. Vince McMahon never showed up, but Trump announced his name, and then all of a sudden, after Trump announced his name, and this is right during the pandemic, WWE all of a sudden made a donation. Linda McMahon gave $20 million. This is all reported, y'all. CNBC, MSNBC. Linda McMahon gave $20 million to the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. And all of a sudden, WWE was the main stay in Florida with pro wrestling, because Florida, they don't know no rules. COVID doesn't exist out there, basically. There you go. I said the C word, okay? It doesn't exist out there. And so at that time, we were just like, wait, so how is WWE going along with NBA, all these other companies? Look at now. We see the headlines. Every other real sports are closing. NHL is not playing to January. NBA is trying to figure it out. I just saw rumors on what was it? Was it ringside that Royal Rumble may be back in the Thunderdome? This is real. What's happening? And the fact is that you got people aiding in supporting it. That back to this conversation of Vince and giving money to Ron DeSantis to keep so that way he could play in this Florida area. And they've been here forever now. And this is at the time when they were at the Thunderdome, guys. But Tony Khan did the exact same thing. So that way the government, the state government, would not be on their asses, because everyone was coming and calling blowing a whistle on COVID situation. So listen, Tony Khan did what he had to do to keep the company running, because that was the big question too, moving forward with AEW at that time. What's next? Because they're a new company, if they can't sell money and all this stuff, and so they survived. There you go. But point is that we don't know outside what I just said with Gabby, and people backstage in AEW, their true beliefs, aside from the ones that are showing us, like I said, like Chris Jericho and his wife, that's without a doubt. Now, also, guys, listen, I don't make the news, I just report it, and guys, there's pictures. Joey Janela Let's just say there's a reason why Joey Janela is not on screen anymore. So anyone that's crying for Joey Janela, Joey Janela needs to, I don't know, he may be at the next insurrection. That's all I got to say. And just stay tuned for that one because, ladies and gentlemen, give you guys a little tea on 2022. DTA Podcast will be presenting you guys with a little teaser of what I'm working on. Clearly, as you guys hear in the last 5 minutes of 10 minutes, if you will, of this rant here, wrestling in politics is knee deep. Vince and Donald Trump has been together forever. And Donald Trump has moved the biggest anti-transgender movement in the history of the United States. And right now, we're talking about a transgender woman. Excuse me, I'm going to say it the right way. A woman living the transgender experience.
Right.
That being Nyla Rose. Experience what she's experiencing. And what you just brought up about Gabby, it's all coming connected, guys. So point being is I'm going to be dropping little videos here and there about it's going to be called #WrestleCulture. And I'm going to be giving you guys wrestling connecting to politics. And it's not cute. But because where we are right now, you literally got people in power right now. They're doing things to keep the panorama here, and I'll just say his name real quick. Fire and Brimstone, the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. Yes, I'm talking about the Undertaker's brother. That guy. You're an
I thought you was
asshole.
talking about Eric Adams. I'm about to say,
No,
is that what we're
no.
calling him
I'm
now?
talking
Oh, okay.
about Kane. You're an
Oh yeah.
asshole, Kane. He's an asshole.
I knew that. You didn't tell me that. I knew that.
Yeah, he went on. It's just like I said. He wants this panorama. What are we? Panorama Part 3. He wants to continue. Anywho, so there are people like you said who have crazy, the most heinous, ideologues about just us, and just society, as you just heard me saying, with people doing things to just have people their lives at risk. And we're talking about transgender people who are dying by the hundreds, if you will, being murdered, and predominantly black and brown transgendered women. Back to your conversation about Gabby, and I didn't even know this was going to get super political, but like I said, this it's the nuance matters. And and I do have a weekly political show, Host Chat Live, for anyone that wants to follow more in this conversation. But it's it's needed, Miss Mania, and that's what I was telling you the other day. Like it's needed. This movement. I feel like what we saw was the beginning, the precipice of a movement in professional wrestling, and I want to be, and I'm gonna say this live on air right now. I want to be one of the leaders. If not the leader, one of the people pushing this together with other people forward. Just like how Black Lives Matter started by two LGBT people, and it is one of the biggest black organizations in the last decade, if you will, raising like $90 million or whatnot, charity. Like I don't know what it is that we have to create, but we need to do it. And I just want to say real quick, shout out to Kristen Ashley. Actually, you know what? Let me get her name right now, because the worst thing is to get people's name wrong. Well, all you got to do is go to Twitter and just go to her account, and let me do this right here. But share your thoughts while I'm searching for this crap. But yeah, it matters. And
yes, it does matter.
as much as we as much as we're tired of from a Black Lives Matter situation, I bring it up, like we're tired of hearing about the police cases and deaths and stuff. We're tired of hearing our end, just like you said about the difference between black and white, the racial gap of Gabby and Nyla getting press and not. Like, it matters. And that's why professional wrestling, this situation is happening, because they see one way of the black lives, and that's why we're trying to say Nyla got to get out and represent a different version.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we definitely need a different version of Nyla. And basically we're going into 2022. So this is a new time, new beginnings, um, new things, new thoughts, new movements. And we're coming out of a pandemic, basically getting around it, because every time you turn around, there's a new pandemic. And if you've been with the Omicron variant, that's the new variant. So I was out the other day and I seen lines stretched around a corner to get COVID testing. and people get it all the time, and it's like we're going to something new, and I think it's time for the representation, especially with Nyla. And I keep saying that because I'm speaking it into fruition. Because if you've heard a lot of stuff about anything we've talked about on these years of DTA podcasts, one of my first F5 reports was about the New Day and how
Mm-hmm.
we're tired of them clowning around and all of the stuff. Like, get serious. We want to see serious. What are they going to tell? And that same year, Kofi Kingston was became WWE champion, and now we have Big E. Is the new WWE champion? So they've stepped up, stepped out, and showed a different. Broke the that what we say on this show really gets out into the universe, and the universe receives it. So when I say Nyla, I need a level up, a new Nyla Rose. I mean, we need a new Nyla Rose, someone who stands for justice and trans rights. You know, and it doesn't have to be all the you know, all the because when you think of a trans person, they already think negative stuff. So why play with that stereotype? Let's show who we really are. Let's show that she really cares. And that picture you showed of Nyla, beautiful. Her girlfriend, beautiful. Or wife, beautiful. And that's what I
Wife.
want to see. I want them to bring out more of the beauty of Nyla Rose. How about instead of the native beef, the native beauty? Come on, I am woman, and just and she is. I want her to embrace
Mm.
that. We need her to change. We need this baby face run.
Right, right. And
I
real
don't
quick,
like to see her calling other women bitches and all that other stuff because that's the stereotype. Oh, they don't
yeah,
like women anyway. Trans people, they don't like women. They don't like women, which is so far from the truth. It's so far. It's like they need the James Webb telescope to see it. That's how far it is from the truth. That trans women don't like women. It's bullshit. And I just feel like that whole skit that Nana puts it just it legitimizes what they're saying, and it's not true, Nyla. And I want to hear that Nyla that speaks up. I want to see that Nyla that has all these new sponsors. I want to sponsor her and
yeah,
come on, because that's what comes with it.
yep,
That's what comes with it. And
yep.
so yeah, so I'm gonna speak that into fruition, and I want that to be one of her New Year's resolutions. It's time for a change.
You hear that, Nyla? Time for a change.
Hmm.
Yeah, I obviously I agree, and we just had to add
Hmm.
more nuance to that conversation. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so yeah, I just want to follow up on the Gabby situation because I have a story here, where Gabby is talking
Okay.
about she spoke to Wrestling Inc. and
Okay.
spoke about her time in NXT and says here NXT is on reflecting on NXT being the place where wrestlers go to die. Speaking about her relationship on with Vince McMahon, she says short and sweet. It was one of those, hey boss, how you doing? Shake your hand and move on. I had short meetings with him. He does short meetings with every new talent, at least when I was there. And it was awkward because I didn't really know. I didn't really know who I was. I was like, okay, yes, yes, sir. Okay, yeah. He asked me all the hard questions. I was giving him, excuse me, I was giving him very simple answers. He talks about the creative. Excuse me, she talks about the creative and says here, says will say I am 90% sure that there's no vision for me ever, because I have some inside information. Oh, okay. Because I know some of the writers and they were buddies of ours. Apparently, in the production meeting before my big debut as Mean Tyler Rex with the beard and the dreadlocks, they had pulled me off TV as a babyface because it just wasn't working. I spent 6 months plus trying to come up with this heel character. It was right before bragging. Oh, this is like 2009. Yeah, bragging rights, right? When was the last bragging rights? I was literally Friday night when I worked. Caval, that being Loki, the wrestler Loki. It was his spot for bragging rights. That production meeting, Vince goes, "What are you guys doing with Tyler Rex?" And I was told the entire production meeting room was just kind of they just looked at each other and they go, "Nothing. What are your plans for him? We don't have any." He goes, he's debuting tonight. He's going to bragging rights, and that was it. That was all I know. He goes back on NXT and says, Hawkins and I Who's Hawkins? I don't know who's Hawkins he's talking about. He says they had a saying that NXT was where wrestlers go to die. It's much different now, but back then it wasn't even the C show; it was the D show. It was a hey, put them down before we let them go. We looked at it as we don't really care anymore. We're going to get fired, or we're going to go figure this out. Yeah, he goes on and on about so Hawkins, he's talking about okay, he was tag team with Curtis Hawkins. There you go. Yeah, his real name is Brian Myers. He says we're still friends. But yeah, so there you have it. With Gabby Tough, speaking out about her time in NXT prior transitioning and saying the same things you hear every wrestler say, basically.
Basically.
That they have no ideas for them, and you have to go and figure it out and keep yourself healthy for 6 months. And I guess that's when she decided to make that decision on her new life. And but I do get the frustration, and NXT, a place where wrestlers die, has been something that saying that a lot of fans have been saying in the most recent time. So I could see why now that she left, she's speaking the talk now, because it's been a saying for quite some time, especially with the AEW fight and all that stuff, and how fans have been saying things, all this fan wars and stuff. And especially now with Vinnie Mac involved, because 2.0, I can't even tell you what's going on. It's just it's a lot. It's a mess. I don't even know why the girls at festivals, what does festivals have to do with wrestling? Okay. Anyway, just so there you have it, guys, with Gabby. I don't know if Miss Mania have anything else to say, but we're gonna move on. If not, we're gonna move on to the next person on the docket here, as we get ready to wrap up this show. So I don't know what to say about this one, but all I gotta say is quick little shameless plug. If you guys want to support DTA Podcast, as you guys see on the screen right there, you guys can go to buymeacoffee.com/DTA Podcast. You guys can go and support, give us a tip, become a subscriber. And by becoming a subscriber, you get the chance to win free merch when we roll the merch out coming 2022, along with our first ever DTA Podcast official theme song
Oh my
that
God, you guys are gonna
was
love it. Oh wow.
produced by this one here, the one and only Miss Mania, Suplex City
Thank
Diva,
you.
aka Splash T rapper, does everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just an amazing
Right.
track that we have for you guys.
Mhm.
We're gonna put it
Mhm.
out there
Mhm.
all on
Mhm.
the streaming services for you guys to check it out and support. The money we be receiving from you guys will help to continue to create great content for you guys. And also, guys, we also have the debut of Suplex City here. We're going to be
Mhm.
rolling out a monthly series on YouTube and Twitch. We
Okay.
may add it to Instagram. Today was the first time doing an Instagram thing, along with all the other platforms, and it actually worked. So shout out to InstaFeed and all the great people who create this technology, and crazy ass who had to learn it and make it make sense. So we might go live on Instagram as well, and just keep the conversation going. But Suplex City will be coming up with our own monthly series, the F5 Report. Those that love the show from the series we had on the podcast is now becoming a video series, whatnot, on our DTA podcast channel. And we're working on a lot of great stuff for 2022, along with the return of the podcast. Right now we're getting the whole new network situation together, so just be patient with us. We're going to continue to drop some videos. I have a lot of content coming out this week. And before we wrap up this show, I'll do some quick shameless promo. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the man of the night here. That being this guy here, the fine one and only Anthony
He
Bowens.
is fine.
Yes,
He
all the
is
muscles.
fine. Ooh, gee,
So
I didn't. I had no. Ooh,
right,
who
go
is
ahead,
he?
get it
Is he
out.
single? Is he
No.
single or is just?
Anthony is happily
Mm,
involved. I think he is engaged, if I'm not mistaken, to his beautiful partner. And I do not know his partner name.
mm.
I think it's
Let me
Anthony, if I'm
follow
not
him.
mistaken. Yes. No, wait, no, Anthony.
Mm,
No, wait, I'm forget his partner's name. Hold on, go ahead. You follow him, and let me go.
mm.
And because I do follow his
We're going to win
partner.
this race.
But she started going with a sermon there. She's like, "All right, you
About to
started."
win this race.
um, so let me see,
hmm
Anthony Bowens.
Anthony. Okay,
There you go.
Anthony.
Okay, Anthony.
Ant
Yeah, Bowens
won't
official.
stop. No, it's not Ant won't stop. It's Anthony Bowens, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
no, it's Bowens underscore official.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ant won't stop. Won't like the tweets.
Bowens.
Don't tweet. Ant won't stop that.
He might.
So mhm. So
Bowens.
he says, "Oh, Michael, there you go, Michael." So Anthony and Michael. So there you go, guys. That's his partner. He says, "Wish you a Merry Christmas from me and Michael" on his Insta here. But yeah, so Anthony Bowens, who is a another proud member of the community, clearly happily involved in his love life. He's doing his damn thing. The number 2 tag in AEW right now, that being the Acclaim, him and the one and only Max Caster, another eye candy piece there. They are a phenomenal tag team, and can't wait to see when they definitely get their push. Right now, it's like they're getting all these wins. I don't know how many losses they got, but clearly it's not enough to keep them below the number 1 tag team. Number 2 is definitely nothing to snark at. But so Anthony Bowen, while he was minding his business and doing what he does as a wrestler, going out there to perform and show his pecs to the world, and Max Caster was making his way out there and rapping. I forget which episode it was. This was about a couple weeks ago, and okay, let me pull up my phone here. But so this was a couple weeks ago, and it was really weird because obviously this one as well, just like Nyla Rose, this one happened live. And as I said to you, like, this has been going on for far too long. Let me type his name in my little thing so I can find him. Anthony Bowens. Okay, there we go. So yeah, shout out to Wrestle Talk for this one. But yeah, so Anthony Bowens was, doing his thing, coming out there, clocking in for work, getting the match on.
Right.
I
Minding
think
his
he,
own business.
right, and I think he lost the match if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, they book him a lot. They win. They got a good winning streak, but then they lose when I want them to win. But anywho,
Right.
so Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, the Acclaim out there, and then all of a sudden Anthony Bowens goes outside. I think they were fighting the Lucha Bros. I think it was the 8-man tag one or not. I'm not sure, but he went out there, and then some lady just screamed at him and grabbed him, and then he turned around and looked at her. But then what you call was running towards him, so he kept going. Kayfabe kept the match going. So all of a sudden, I didn't really think much of it, and then the article hits my desk here at Wrestle Talk. Shout out to you guys, Andy Datson, for this article here saying that Anthony Bowens responds to homophobic slurs from another AEW fan. And this happened at the beginning of this month. So here we are, December. This past week, AEW Dynamite, Anthony Bowens was unfortunately subjected to a number of homophobic slurs from a fan in attendance. Bowens, who was openly gay, was tagging with his acclaimed teammate, Max Caster, in 2.0. Hold on, can I just say, and this is another video coming out, can I just say, now you were fanning over Anthony, I'm fanning over Daniel Garcia. So Danny Garcia, who is the hottest young indie in AEW, I'm going to say, and I mean hot literally and figuratively with his wrestling, because the timeline goes ill. Actually, it's probably a fight between him and Hook because everyone wants Hook. Anyway, we're not going to go on an AEW tangent here, but the point is that right now, Garcia is like I've watched this guy. I watched him. Shout out to him. He's a New Yorker from Buffalo. Him and I believe 2.0. And he had his boy Blackwood with him, his tag team partner. But anyway, that he had in the Indies. But this man had titles in the Indies, world champion, multiple titles. He was like 3-champ Garcia at one point, all over the Indies. You know, he had titles in Buffalo and Maine, and he had I think another title. But anyway, so he was just running shit, and I knew he was going to get signed. And then Tony Khan, because he was also in WWE. He was in NXT back when Triple H was running shit, and he's also in 205 Live, you know, enhancement talent, and they didn't do nothing with him. And he just kept going, but he was just so determined to make it, and he made it now. Tony Khan signed him, and I just love seeing that. Like I said earlier with Nyla, like seeing these wrestlers transition, excuse me, but yeah, it's a transition from indies to mainstream, but it's really just the progress of these wrestlers. Like when you see, because Daniel Garcia, I'm sure, just like Nyla Rose, very wet, you know, behind the ears, and they obviously got better and better the more they got, you know, more matches and worked with more skilled people. Like, and that's the beauty of like what AEW is doing with these veterans and young stars. And WWE, they don't do it as often, but you know, they need to. But well, actually, no, neither here nor there. But anyway, point is that like I love seeing the growth of wrestlers and to see him like just go through these indies and to see the process of what, like once he lost a title, every time he started losing title after title, I'm like, okay, yeah, something's up. And then all of a sudden he's on AEW like full time now. So this is awesome. Clearly he's a man who don't have no problems. He's a cis hetero man who has no problems compared to a cis gay man like Anthony Bowen's here, who clearly has issues with someone in the audience. And back to my statement on why AEW
Mm-hmm.
must protect their wrestlers. Like this cannot continue. This has to be addressed, you know. And so I just, you know, I don't know exactly. Let me hold on. Let me just double check the reminders. I don't know exactly what they said. But it says here, yeah, see, he was out there and wrestling Jurassic Express. So it wasn't Lucha, it was Jurassic. But anyway, and he says here he responded on Twitter to the slur. This is why I posted that photo the other day. Stuff like this unfortunately still exists. Not phase. I'll just keep fighting against stuff like this till the day I die. Yeah, so unfortunately, fans. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So it was someone
Okay.
else too, a cis hetero female. So unfortunately, fans have noted that Nyla Rose was subjected to transphobic slurs as well. This is before this one. So this is underneath this article here, continuing here, and it says also Riho, the former AEW, the first and AEW champion, that is Riho, was targeted of racial slurs. You know, she is Asian, Asian wrestler. Like this has to stop. Like, and we have to call it out like now. Let's not wait to hashtag, you know, Asian World Day or whatever, like or Pride. Like, do it now, Tony Khan. Do it now. Train these bigots to stop being bigots. I mean, I mean,
And that's the
I
thing. You can't
unless you
train
are one too.
bigots. You can't train bigots. You know, if the towns he's going in, the only way I can see him doing something is putting up signs. This is a no hate zone. You know,
Yes,
letting people
yes,
know. You know, those are
yes.
the ones he has to take. He has to take action,
Yes,
and to
no
take
hate
action
zone.
and let them know. You
Weekly
see,
or monthly
mm-hmm,
PSAs. Like he has to
yeah,
do it. Like this
yeah.
can't be just
But
like I said, a annual. Oh, here goes the gay parade. Here comes Tony Khan. No, no, no. This has to
right,
be an
right.
annual. I
Or
mean,
or
a
or when
consistent
they
thing.
or when they when Pride comes around, you know, everyone's wearing like Cody, you know, they're getting into it by putting on the colors or the flag. So you go by that. It's all. Did it become just, you know, trying to get the money? They like the money for the gays, but once Pride is over, they send Sunny, what is it,
Sonny Kiss.
Sunny
Hmm.
Kiss, and
Hmm.
not a rose to the back somewhere, and you know, and into next year, you know, we'll celebrate you next year. No, it should be an all around all yearly around thing. But see, it's the towns they go to. And I said this before. They go to these towns where you have a lot of rednecks and people that are anti-gay and they don't believe in that and all this other stuff. So he wants their money too. Just like he wants the
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQIA plus people money. When he puts up that you go buy the t-shirts and stuff like that. Wear the t-shirts
Mm-hmm.
now, Tony. Wear the signs now, Tony, because you go to certain they like to go. They go to certain towns and find out what those people like, and then they give them what they like. So it's like it's a pleasing everybody, and we all know you can't please everybody, but he tries his best to please because they want that money, and he's gonna fall a victim to the McMahon, uh, 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 Vince McMahon experience to
Mm.
Vince because it's where it's you get trapped in these corners and you want to get the money from those people. You want them to come out to the shows. So to please them, you might just lay back. You might not let Sonny Kiss or Nyla, or maybe they claim, well, he looks straight, he could come out. You might not know. He'll bring them out. But come on. They go to
Mm.
different towns and they get these things and people are screaming. Yeah, they're drunk. Hello, you're passing them beer. They come and they popped the pill before they got there. It's a lot of stuff. It just so I think that they need yearly round talks about this and getting the message out and
Yeah.
educating
On top
people.
of everything, yeah. On that, thank you. On top of the
Right.
ongoing educational PSAs and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. This
Mhm.
is not just an AEW thing. We're gonna get to the
Right.
remaining stories of this show, but so shout out to Anthony Bowen. Shout out to
Mhm.
Anthony and his partner Michael, who
Mhm.
as we mentioned here, he's committed, and thankfully he has just like
Of
Nyla,
course, he's
they
committed.
have a support system, to keep them in good spirits. I for one know how hard it is, and even with all, like you said, he kind of passes with the muscles and all that stuff, but still, they are human as well, and Nyla,
Yeah.
who is very muscular as well, like, and that's because she's an athlete, like,
Mm.
somebody, I forget what I was watching or whatnot, but someone bought oh no, that was you. That was in the last hour, actually. See, so much we've been talking about. So I was like, wait, is someone else? So you brought up the whole China, like, and I don't know if you ever. I sent you that
Absolutely.
link. The
First intercontinental champ. I didn't get the link. When you
yeah, no,
sent
no,
it, he must have sent it in the
yeah, I sent it in the Skype. The movie, the
Oh.
vice versa movie that
Oh. Oh.
Vice TV did on China. It's called Vice Versa, and
Oh.
one the episode is China, and they spoke about, like, it was a
Oh.
raw, uncut, not this censored whatever, but they spoke about it from, they had the last video footage ever of China, and I was heartbroken in here. I saw it twice with my partner, just sitting here, like, just heartbroken on how we
Wow.
all treated her, just, I'm saying we as the
You
industry,
did.
not like, and she got homophobic. The first part in the video, the opening of the first 10
Yeah.
minutes was her being called a
They thought
man,
she was
because she,
trans.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
so it's just, it's
Mhm.
awful. It's awful, awful, awful. But speaking of awful, unfortunately we have to cover this. This is a story that came out this past summer, and the only reason I'm covering this because this is the show. And this is actually a
Yeah.
fan. This came out in September, so towards end of summer, early fall, September this year, September 2021. And unfortunately, according to shout out to you guys, bodyslam.net, there was a trans fan attacked at an indie show.
Mm.
And it goes on here: transgender fan assaulted at PWG 3 Mendes 6. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla 3 Mendes 6 took place at Globe Theater in Los Angeles, California, September 26th. And a very serious incident occurred outside of the ring while the event was going on. According to multiple reports from fans and attendees on social media, a transgender fan was attacked in the restroom during last night's show.
Mm.
PWG issued a statement saying, "We are aware of the incident that was reported on Twitter last night during the 3 Mendes 6. Upon learning of the report, we immediately contacted security and management of the Globe Theater, who investigated throughout the remainder of the night. No report was made to the Globe or PWG staff or management last night. However, we're in contact with the victim and working closely with the Globe to address the situation. PWG is committed to being a safe, inclusive environment for all fans. We abhor and will not tolerate physical violence at our events. I appreciate that statement. Again, you guys need to come together along with AEW. AEW needs to make a statement like that. Tony Khan needs to come on air. Do not go. Actually, you could go to your Busted Open Radio, Tony Khan. You could go ahead and do that. You could go ahead to Busted Open Radio and do all that, but also come live on television, continue the conversation, come live and say exactly what Suplex City said. This is a no hate zone. We will not tolerate this. And you know, like, come on. And just like the fan who attacked Seth Rollins a couple of weeks ago, I mean, that wasn't racial, but it was some catfishing, whatever. But listen, like, it's crazy out here. And it's like, come on, man. I mean, I know Seth Rollins has nothing to do with this conversation. He ain't gay, but point is like, people are being attacked, and these companies need to do something like bigger than just, you know. And it's always because of money, and that's when they move. And that's what I'm saying. Fuck the money.
It
like
is.
stop.
They move
Like
with
and,
money.
like I'm you know I'm cursing because it's like it's so frustrating. Like, it's always about when the dollar matters, then you make the steps. Make the steps now. You have young wrestling fans who are watching. Girls like Izzy. Everyone knows Izzy. She was a Bailey fan. Izzy. She would go to any shows. She would dress up as Bailey.
Little
Now
Izzy.
yes, now she's training to be a wrestler. Do you want her to possibly be attacked in the bathroom too? Like, these are what I'm saying. We need to create these safe spaces. And saying it would, I'm knocking on wood. I love Izzy and her family. I'm not saying. I'm just saying we have to protect the wrestler. We got to protect the industry.
Is Izzy trans?
No, I'm just saying that people are being attacked, and no, she's not that I'm aware of. But I'm just saying, like, we need to protect. Like I said, Seth Rollins got it. Like, and these are crazy. These are things you can't do out of your control. But I'm just saying, protect in the sense of what we're saying. Like, PSAs, stop, just, you know, waiting and like reacting. Prevent. And maybe that's just a zeitgeist of our society, but that's all I'm saying. Like, you know, not to, you know, put anyone in any harm or anything like that. I'm just using
Do you know
Izzy
the
as an
story?
example.
Do you know the
I
story
love
of?
Izzy. Oh yeah.
Do you know the story of why the guy attacked Seth Rollins?
Apparently it was over some catfishing.
Okay,
That's
so
it's crazy. This is like a
so
movie.
there was a fake Seth Rollins um social media network. I don't know if it was on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, but they were asking for money, and this guy started sending him money because he really thought he was speaking to Seth Rollins, and this is how the story went down. And so after he took I don't know, hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands or something from him, then the guy, they just cut him off. You know, it was a scam. It was a catfish. He really thought it was Seth Rollins asking him for money, like as if Seth Rollins would want to ask him for any money. Like, he's not making top dollar at WWE right now. Why would he ask anybody for money? So anyway, the guy went to the wrestling event to confront the real Seth Rollins, who doesn't even know him, jumped over the barrister with Seth Rollins and totally tackled him, you know, about this money that allegedly he sent to him. That's why people, there are all kind of scammers out there. We implore you not to fall for them. People like when the Chinese lady call your phone, or when someone says, "Hey, your car is we're calling you about your car, and you need to come and find out about it." It's always something. It's always a scam. So, you know, you have to really look into that before you start giving people your money. You know, but that was the thing. He thought that he actually gave Seth Rollins money, and then he was to attack him and beat him up and take the money back. You know, like, that was just
Crazy.
crazy. Yeah, crazy people. It's crazy people out there. So that's basically what we say. We gotta protect our wrestlers from crazy people. I remember an old story. I don't know if you remember this one, where someone grabbed Macho Man Randy Savage's hand, and Macho Man, as he pulled back, he back smacked the what, because, you know, before, when the WWE wrestlers would come to the ring, it would be closer, so you could actually touch them, and, you know, touch them. And someone did something, or grabbed Macho Man, and he back smacked them, and they sued him, and for a couple of thousands of dollars, for thousands and thousands of dollars, saying they were attacked, and that's why they made the entrance even more. So if you walk straight down, they can't touch you. But the fans get crazy. They put their hands out. they want you, and if you don't do it, they get upset, and they want to shake your hand. They want that
Yeah.
experience, and it's not easy. It's dangerous. And nowadays with COVID, and I see people shaking everybody's hands. I'm like, I wonder if she used any little, you know, stuff on her hands, that cleansing stuff, before you
Listen,
touching people's hands, because you're touching a lot of people.
there was a point where Nyla was like, I think what was it, a bat or something she used to always have, and
Yeah,
a kendo stick or something like that. And she
yeah,
used to lick it, and I'm like, girl, please don't do that.
right.
But anywho,
They had to take that
not
out.
because of the way it looks, just the
Right.
fact that it was COVID, and girl, I was scared. Anywho, um, yeah, guys. So we got the last topics of the show, but before that, we're gonna take this quick 30-second break, and we'll be back with the remainder of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, needed that quick breather. Yeah, so we're wrapping up this last segment here of the show. We're keeping back on the topic of the transgender community. And this is a very interesting article here. Shout out to Out Sports for this one here. And it goes on to say about the 5 trans wrestlers who have pummeled discrimination into submission. And we're going to kick it off with number 1, that being the one and only, the native beast, Nyla Rose. Known in Japan as the American Kaju, and in America as the native beast and the Barbie Breaker. Ooh, I like the Barbie Breaker. There we go. We got a new name, Suplex City. We got the name, Barbie
Bobby
Breaker.
Breaker. Uh,
Rose became a full-time member of the All Elite Wrestling roster in February 2019. Rose has won several titles, including the Warriors of Women Wrestling Championship title twice, the Covey Promotions Women's Championship title 3 times, and the United Pro Wrestling Association Women's Championship 1 time. She has also acted in the TV shows Tofu Pro Wrestling and The Switch, the first ever trans-themed TV series produced in Canada. In The Switch, she plays an IT manager who loses her job and apartment after coming out as trans. Number 2, Candy Lee, also known as Leilani Taminoko. Tamanikos. Sorry. Candy Lee, when Lee won her December 16th, 2017 Nightmare Before Christmas match against a fellow wrestler, Brittany, but it's spelled with the, okay, anyway, Brittany. I was going to say Brittany. Then 22-year-old, the then 22-year-old grappler became the women's champion of Impact Pro Wrestling New Zealand. Oh, wow, I didn't even know there was a New Zealand Impact Pro Wrestling. And the first trans woman to win a major indie title. In an interview with New Zealand Herald, Lee said she hadn't really faced any transphobic discrimination, and the IPW was pretty accepting with the family vibe. She trains 5 times a week for 2 hours a day and competes monthly. Appropriately, her finishing move is a slam called the Candy Crush, and she also uses a lariat move called the Gob Stopper. Number 3, Amanda, the Bloodthirsty Vixen, also known as Mariah Moreno. Amanda's wrestling name comes as a non-too subtle pun referencing her trans identity, but her nickname comes from her hardcore wrestling experiences in bloody matches involving fluorescent light tubes and barbed wire. Ooh, I want to see that. Okay, she's taking some shots. She has won various titles, including the NTW/NTLL Women's Championship and G&T Hardcore Championship, the 2012 Luna Vachon Lunacy Cup Award. Rest in peace, Luna Vachon. speaking of, watch the Dark Side of the Ring, Luna Vachon episode. You will not regret it. The
I can't wait.
2010. Yes, the 2010 Miss Lucha Lords title. She has also won, that being Amanda Bloodthirsty Vixen. She says here, for me as a trans woman in wrestling, it's even harder. Moreno said in a 2013 interview, I've been rejected as a wrestler from a few wrestling promotions because of it. Since when did indie wrestling join the WWE/TNA bandwagon with the whole we don't allow man on woman violence policy? I know I sound like a complainer right now, but I want everyone to know that it hurts. I live my life as a woman every day. Therefore, I like to be treated as one at all times. Snaps for you, girl.
Yes.
Number 4. Yes. Number 4, Harley Ryder. Harley Ryder, known as Britain's first trans wrestler. She competed with the UK wrestling promotion after training for several months. She quotes here, says, the men are very comfortable with me, she told the Daily Mail in 2013. They're all nice and make sure they care for me. Every time they give me a move, will ask me if I'm okay. They do make sure I am in safe hands. It's not an issue for them. The guys are really supportive, in a way. It's really surprising because that world, the wrestling world, can be masculine and macho. She works as a prolific makeup artist and YouTuber. That'd be interesting. I want to check her out. With more than 15,000 subscribers. Let's go check her out, guys.
Yeah.
Her name, once again, is Harley Ryder.
Wow.
Ryder with the Y. Ryder.
Great.
Number 5, the one and only Asuka. And it goes on here. This Japanese wrestler, parentheses, guys, not to be confused with the WWE cis female wrestler of the same name.
Oh, I was about to say, you just shocked me. I was sitting here like, excuse me, what? Okay.
This Asuka was, hold on, what it says here. This Asuka was the first trans woman to hold a women's championship title in a major indie company. The Japanese promotion, Pro Wrestling Wave. She competes in intergender matches for DDT Pro Wrestling Japan. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. In 2017, it says here, Asuka said that she felt pressure into judo, kempo, and wrestling as a youth because the only child assigned male birth among her 2 other siblings. She felt expected to be physically competitive. She wrestled in high school and dropped out after coming out to her parents as being attracted to men around age 16. She didn't completely realize her trans identity until later. She's inspired by high-flying wrestlers and want to develop her own unique wrestling style. She also said that she wants to make friends with other male to female trans people so they can discuss romance and work issues in ways that she can't with cis people. Shout out to all of those transgendered people, like just doing their thing. All of them were trans women, so that's another beautiful thing. Now, what I would like to see, and we're about to wrap this up, guys. So oh my gosh, no, shut up, okay? This is a session. Actually, no, I should have put that in the title. DTA Podcast Classic Session. I'm gonna do that next time.
Okay.
Give it a call to action. Be like, classic session. What's this? I gotta click this. So, listen. I want to see, and correct me not correct me, but tell me your opinion here, Miss Mania. But or you can correct me, wherever you feel. Right. I want to see, because right now I don't know of any, and if they are, you can tweet us at DTA Podcast, tweet me, EJPCO Corner, tweet Suplex City Diva 101 on Twitter. I want to see the trans male wrestlers come forward and stand up for the trans woman, and I want to see that.
I want to see that too. I want to see that in AEW. I want to see them more come and show support when things like this happen to the guy from the Acclaim or Nyla Rose. Like, I want to see them come out and just publicly make a statement. I love what Finn Balor used to come out with the colors. People were questioning his sexuality, but no, he's an ally, and it's nothing wrong with being an ally of the LGBTQ.
Yeah, plus. I definitely agree.
We need more
with that.
allies. We need more allies to show representation that they're out here and they support, because that's very important. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So yeah, guys, we are going to get to these last two topics here, but first, I just want to say that I feel that one person may have something to say to me
Really?
for for for, for having the IWC, including Miss Mania, shocked that they thought that it was the quote unquote American Oscar. I think she may have something to say to me. Let's take a listen to Oscar. Bitch!
Well, yeah, that's the first English word we could make out from Oscar, and it would be bitch.
Oh, can I just say
Oh my God.
I love that clip.
Clip, yeah.
We had the other clip, which we still got. We got to bring that back when we come back with the podcast.
Yeah.
Where what was the Oscar? Nobody.
It's ready, yeah. Nobody. But let's
Oh
but I
man.
I am on this Io Shirai train. I can't wait till she gets
Oh
there.
yes.
Because Io Shirai is definitely another Oscar. She matches up. I don't know what Vince and them is thinking, but she definitely matches up, and that money is gonna come in. She's gonna be in a women's Royal Rumble. Take a good look for a lot of these women that have made big strides this year. It's gonna make it to the Rumble. So I can't wait till that happens next month.
Yeah. Whether I agree whether it's in the Thunderdome or not. I would like to see some call ups, well deserved call ups, but it'll be interesting to see what happens because NXT is a mess right now. I mean, with O'Reilly showing up at AEW and Gargano possibly out and stuff. So I think the women are the really things people long term like NXT lifers are really watching for, the women that are still sticking around. Like
Mm-hmm.
these newbies, people are getting familiar with. A lot of people did not like the AJ Styles situation, but this is not an NXT situation. Maybe we'll talk about that in the beginning of the year when we
Okay.
do our first Sunday Night Wrestling. We could talk
Okay.
about just to recap
Mm-hmm.
2021 and give all that situation. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this show up with our last
Okay.
topic, and we're gonna wrap it up with the person that we started with. We're gonna end it with her, that being the one and only Native Beast. Hashtag the Barbie breaker, all of that.
Hashtag
Nyla
Rose
Rose.
Squad. Yeah, we down with the Rose
Oh, I
Squad.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
Rose Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You know what? I just thought about it, Splash.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Suplex City. Sorry. You
Uh-huh.
got so many names. Just
Yeah,
like
well,
me. Don't worry
yeah,
about it,
yeah.
guys. Just
Mm-hmm.
keep up. Keep up, y'all.
Right.
It's time for Nyla Rose. AEW need to have Nyla Rose have her own reality show. I
Yeah.
said it. There you go. Nyla Rose reality show.
Oh,
There
it
you
would be
go.
better
Her
than
wife.
Cody's
Yes.
reality show. And I think he would get kind of
And
jealous. Oh, and did you know that Cody won the TNT championship again last night?
Yeah, spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Spoiler for you
And
guys.
fans are pissed about that. But hey,
Yeah.
now he's a true heel. Yeah, I think that's needed. Nyla has a show,
Yeah.
and then Anthony Bone have a
Yeah.
show.
And she could have her show right next to I Am Jazz
Yes, yes,
the Learning
yes.
Channel,
Actually, it could be
TLC.
one show, and it could follow her,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, and Sunny Kiss, and all the gays and
Yeah,
like
they
the gay.
really
It could be
need
like
it.
yes. Oh my God, that's a show. Okay,
That's a
so there
show.
you go. But back to Nyla Rose, guys. So we're talking about her. We're ending this show with something serious here. So with everything that happened, there was a story that came out like the week before all this happened or whatnot. Actually, no, I'm sorry, not the week before. After the day after the whole sign with the fan situation. So she goes on here. Shout out to Ringside News, and it says, basically Nyla Rose was slammed for the comment about the because apparently the fan who did the sign was in a wheelchair or something like that. Okay, let me read this. It says here, during this week episode of AEW Dynamite, Nyla Rose had to deal with a fan who had a bigot sign. Thankfully, the fan was removed. In addition to that, she also lost, she lost the match. As revealed to a Reddit thread, In a now deleted tweet, Nyla replied to a fan who seemingly ticked her off. Okay, so it was a fan. Sorry, the guy that did it obviously wasn't in a wheelchair. The guy with
Okay.
the sign,
Wow.
he was standing up. That's why I was like,
Oof.
wait. But someone else on Twitter said something to her, and she replied, and she said, "There, you're tweeting out needless, hateful shit like this, and you're wondering why God put you in a wheelchair. Keep rolling, brother." Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Clearly, she's in her feelings.
She's still. It's just. You
And
know what it
she
is.
she
It's a
deleted
lot
the
of.
tweet. This is the day
I.
after the whole
But
situation.
you know what it is? A lot of wrestlers they can't come out that like she plays a heel and like you know how they can't. It's hard for them to transition from just normal to pull off that character that they play on
Mhm.
TV. You know, like she has to. First of all, she shouldn't be answering these fans because she should have her maybe somebody that's doing her media or something answer those fans or maybe just block them or something. You know, but like I said at the beginning, if she came out as a face, then it'd be different because they don't treat faces like that. And when they do, it's like they have their whole squad behind them. No one's going to stand. She needs to change, basically, because I can't keep repeating the same thing. This is like the fifth time I said
Yeah,
the thing. She needs to change.
I think that that's what it is. Like she
Yes.
needs to change so that way this all can kind of make
Yeah.
sense, if
It
you
could
will,
kind of
from a
make
kayfabe
sense.
perspective. Like, but
Yeah.
at the same time,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with the fact that you know, something needs to give.
Yes.
That tweet was very
Mm.
uh it was a lot.
It was a
But
lot, but to say, "Oh,
you
you're in a
know,
wheelchair," like, "Oh, Nyla, don't even get, don't
yeah,
let them pull you out
that
there,
was a
sis."
lot.
And I know how she feels. She's tired of it, but don't let them pull you out there. Middle fingers and dissing him back is not going to work. You know, it's just not. And you need, and
Yeah.
they coming out playing this character. You know, like they always go after heels and stuff. They always say stuff about them. You know, so she's gonna have to. She's gonna have to kind of combat that in a different way. We gave her a couple of ideas, so there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. You know, and hopefully one of the powers to be or more are listening
Right.
and you know, do something because, you know, I mean, she's in her feelings and it doesn't justify it, you know, but
Right.
at the same time,
We gonna
uh
understand it. We understand it. We understand the
yeah, it's
frustration, but
understandable. Hmm.
you don't want to come off as that kind of person because like, nah, don't let them do that to you, Nyla. You know, you're better than that. You're better than that, sis. You're better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hashtag better than that. Okay.
Haha, there you go. Hashtag better than that. Yeah, so this is just, you know, people are going to continue to say things to her,
It's
you
not gonna
know,
stop. It's gonna continue.
yeah, it's not going
Exactly.
to stop. And, you know, we got to stand for her, but at the same time, still call her
Yes. We
out,
still
you
yes,
know, like
yes, yes.
when she did this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there you have it, guys. So our last story here, we got, Nyla Rose, basically her wife here, that we see here. But let me get her name. Uh, pull up here. All right. So she's in the news. I mean, aside from what she tweeted about, you know, her wife Nyla being the strongest person, Nyla's wife now is in the news. And I'm standing with her for this one because she's calling out a bigot, and we spoke about him this last season of DTA podcast, that being the bigot from the South, Jim Cornette, that is. Uh, and she calls him out for using the N word. You know, that goes without saying. I don't think I need to go any further. But shout out to Ringside for this one here. And it says here, there's an unspoken line of respect sometimes get crossed. There has been several such incidents as of late. Seth Rollins, Taya Conti. So Seth Rollins was attacked by fan live television. Taya Conti was bullied online after rumors about her personal life emerged. The most recent example when the fan raised a sign to Nyla Rose. Nyla made history as the first trans female athlete to appear on a major national pro wrestling stage. She has handled the responsibility that comes with being such a pioneer extremely well. Nyla's wife, Kalena Mills, there you go, her name, Kalena. I know it started with a K. Kalena Mills addressed comments made by Jim Cornette about the incident via social media. She minced no words when responding to Cornette's opinion. She says, irrelevant boomer has another nostalgic moment about not being about not being able to use the N word anymore. There, I fixed it for you. Jim Cornette is known to be open about his old school view. Oh, that's what you're calling it over here, ringside old school.
Old
Okay,
school. Okay, we get it.
right. Nyla and Kalena have handled the situation as well as anybody could expect. There's simply no room for hatred in a business that wants to shake off its sketchy roots and fit into the mainstream. Now, that last line, I absolutely agree with you. And that's been the whole conundrum of professional wrestling, because you guys want to throw Vince McMahon as this great genius and stuff. And now Tony Khan is trying to take it to the next step. And you people who are billionaires in your own right, creating this socioeconomic world for you that benefits you, and then you have people in your company who are marginalized, whether they are making successful earnings and money, they're still looked as the N word, or as called bullied, anti-LGBT, situations. Like there's so much that goes into that, and this is why we have to take a stand. I'm not going to say it anymore. I'm not going to continue to beat a dead horse, but I am going to continue to speak up for my community. And I'm not even trans, but I
But you're an
respect.
ally, so it's what
But
it
yeah, I'm
is.
an
And
ally,
we're
and
in
I'm also a member of the LGBTQ community.
LGBTQ, right?
However, like I know what pain feels like. Like
Yes,
I'm well aware of. I've been bullied in my life. I've been
absolutely,
assaulted in my life. Like
absolutely.
so, and thankfully I'm here to speak my story.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I'm not trans. I don't, I don't, I'm not being quote unquote hunted down, if you will. Like,
Right.
this is an epidemic, if you will. And it must stop. And I appreciate her wife, Nyla Rose's wife, that is Kalena, for speaking up for Black and brown people. Clearly, she is, I believe, from the picture, she is look like mixed race, whatnot. But point is, like,
I just see white. I
we
don't know.
we well, I mean, white can mean a lot of things, though.
It
So that's
sure
what I don't
could.
know. It can mean a lot of things. I mean, so that's what I'm saying.
But
I'm
she's
just
an
being fair
ally. So
here.
yeah, she's
She's
an
an
ally.
ally,
We don't. Yeah, she's an
okay?
ally. She's
She's an ally, and she's
yeah,
gay. So
and
I
she's
mean, so she's
gay.
more than an ally. She's us. But anywho, you guys get the point.
Yeah, you get the
There
picture.
you have it, guys. Love is love.
It sure is. Love is love.
And if you got someone in your family who's
Hmm.
going through situations, whether it be LGBT issues or whatnot, you guys can go to safe spaces like the Trevor
Yes.
Project.
Yes.
There are other places like the transgender, the National Transgender Alliance, I think it's called. There's so many places. You guys could just type in,
Hmm.
transgender not-for-profits or LGBT not-for-profits. HRC is a good one. If you guys live in New York City, you got GMHC, you got, what's the other, Cullen Lord, which is good for resources and stuff like that. So, and these services come from voting in the right people. So, this whole episode has been very socio-political, tying in wrestling with politics, if you will. But we don't have a choice because, we love the industry, but the industry doesn't love us. We want to be celebrated, not tolerated. And I'm gonna
Right.
leave it at that.
Hmm.
I want to thank everyone for tuning into this show. We'll be back with more episodes. As I said, this final week of 2021, I'll be releasing some flashbacks and newer stuff.
Hmm.
And check out our Anchor. I'll be dropping some stuff there. And we'll be back in the next year with DTA Podcast, but we're coming back the
Absolutely.
beginning of the year with the first episode of Sunday Night Wrestling. And we're going to talk about everything that happened in 2021
Yeah.
and more.
Hmm.
And give you guys more updates on what we're doing. We
New
got the music
music
coming
coming.
out, and
Yeah.
we're
We said
working.
at the
We
same
want to do
time.
a
Didn't we
video as
say?
well.
We
Exactly.
are
Look
gonna
at
do a
us
video.
in
Yes,
sync.
we gotta do a video as
Yes.
well.
So
Yes. Yes.
so much going on, guys. We got merch, all this stuff.
Merch and everything. So
Suplex City got her show coming on, so it's just
yes,
a lot going on. We
a
got
lot.
Royal Rumble.
Yes.
AEW got some great things. We got Battle
Hmm.
of the Belts coming up
Hmm.
January 8th. We got the first ever
Hmm.
independent Hall of Fame, Wrestling Hall of Fame coming up this
Hmm.
next January. I mean, just next January coming up. Like, it's so
Hmm.
much happening, guys. We also have our first ever all women's wrestling show coming to national television in September of next year. Shout out to CBS for purchasing Wow Women's of Wrestling Superheroes. The owner, the guy who created Glow, is actually I did my like it's amazing. Like, and you you know Glow, we watched the Netflix series. Like, it's just amazing on the evolution of women's wrestling. Women wrestling is here. You know, shout out to Nyla, shout out to all the women in wrestling, and just, you know, we got to stand for the marginalized people in this culture, especially if you're someone of privilege, whether that being if you're a cis hetero male who don't have to deal with this. Stand up, be an ally, do better, be better. That is the end of the
Absolutely.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Happy
You
New
can
Year to
follow us.
everyone, and happy holidays, and I hope you're safe and your
Yes,
family
that
is
part.
too. Mm-hmm.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys once again can follow us at DTA Podcast. Let me pull up this situation here. Yeah, so you guys can follow Miss Mania here if you guys want to follow her on
Yeah.
Instagram. You can go
Right.
right here. See, at the bottom is suplex_city_diva
Diva.
on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys, so, and I want to have you guys want to support DTA Podcast, you guys can support us at buymeacoffee.com/DTA Podcast. Give a tip, whatever you can. It all helps. Every contribution helps. We're trying to grow the brand, grow the channel, get to better places and bigger things. Once again, also, guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes. So once again, I want to thank
Yeah.
everyone for tuning in to this show. We'll be back at the beginning of the year. Have a blessed New Year, safe. Get your boosters if you can. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays, guys. Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Noodle says today. Noodle says it's a no bones day. Oh, thank God. It's TV day. I thought I was going to have a 40-minute match. I know, right? I'll probably do nothing. Yes. Maybe I'm just talking to Meg. A little rest. Fantastic. Thank you, Noodles. You're my hero. Love Noodles. Oh. Chocolate. Jonathan. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is just not. Oh, man. This tastes weird, bro. Oh, yeah. Oh, no bones. No, it's chocolate. No bones about it. Woo! Eating it through the face mask was a bad idea.